Hello, dear friends. I'm so glad to see you here again. I hope you're feeling calm and ready to relax. Please find a comfortable spot. Lower your volume to a soft, soothing level. Close your eyes if you like. And let's dive quietly into today's story, Forgotten Innovations of the Industrial Revolution. Before we begin, if you enjoy this journey, don't forget to like and subscribe for more peaceful stories and gentle explorations. Now let's begin. As the dawn of the Industrial Revolution broke over 18th century Britain, a transformative wave of invention and change began to ripple through the fabric of society. The familiar stories often highlight towering figures like James Watt and Eli Whitney, yet beneath the surface lies a myriad of lesser-known innovations, brilliant ideas, and subtle inventions that quietly reshaped industries, economies, and daily life. Imagine the bustling workshops and smoky factories, where the clatter of machinery and the murmur of laborers mingled with the hopeful spirit of progress. In the shadowed corners of these early industrial centers, inventors and craftsmen tinkered relentlessly, driven by curiosity and necessity. Their inventions were often born from small, practical needs: a new type of gear, a better way to move raw materials, or an improved process that saved time and energy. These unsung innovations might not have captured headlines, but their impact was profound, accelerating the pace of industrialization and laying the groundwork for the modern world. Consider the early development of safety devices, such as rudimentary steam engine governors and improved ventilation systems in coal mines. These inventions addressed the harsh realities and dangers faced by workers, reflecting an emerging awareness of industrial hazards and the beginning of efforts to protect human life amidst rapid technological change. Picture the dimly lit mines where ventilation shafts breathed fresh air into tunnels and machines hummed quietly, overseen by vigilant operators. Beyond machinery, innovations also touched on materials and processes. The discovery and refinement of new alloys, the mechanization of textile production with devices like the spinning jenny and water frame, and advances in chemical manufacturing quietly revolutionized production. These developments transformed raw materials into finished goods faster and more efficiently, fueling the growth of factories and urban centers. Imagine the social landscape evolving alongside these technological changes. Rural communities gave way to burgeoning industrial towns, their streets lined with rows of brick houses, chimneys puffing steady streams of smoke, and marketplaces filled with goods made possible by these hidden innovations. Families adapted to new rhythms of work and life, navigating the challenges and opportunities of an industrializing world. As you immerse yourself in this scene of discovery and transformation, feel the pulse of human ingenuity and resilience that defines the forgotten innovations of the Industrial Revolution. These quiet breakthroughs, often overshadowed by grander inventions, were the vital threads weaving together the fabric of a new era, a testament to creativity, perseverance, and the relentless quest for progress. As the Industrial Revolution surged forward, the relentless quest for efficiency and productivity sparked a wave of ingenious, yet often overlooked innovations that quietly transformed industries from textiles to transportation. Picture a sprawling cotton mill, its towering brick walls enclosing a symphony of spinning jennies, water frames, and carding machines, all churning tirelessly as workers move amidst the rhythmic clatter. Beyond the well-known machines, smaller but equally crucial inventions worked behind the scenes. Devices that improved machinery reliability, simplified maintenance, or enhanced safety, each contributing to a complex ecosystem of industrial progress. Imagine the clanging of metal as skilled artisans forged precision parts, gears, cams, and belts that kept massive machines in sync. The invention of improved lubrication systems allowed these components to operate smoothly, reducing wear and prolonging lifespans, a silent innovation that kept factories humming day and night. In dusty workshops, inventors experimented with new tools and gauges, enabling more accurate measurements and better quality control, laying the foundations for modern industrial engineering. Ventilation and lighting innovations also played a vital role, often overshadowed by grander mechanical feats. In the depths of coal mines, where darkness and toxic gases threatened life daily, early forms of ventilation shafts and safety lamps began to save countless lives. Picture miners pausing as the faint glow of a safety lamp cuts through the blackness, a beacon of hope amid peril. These advances reflected a growing consciousness of workers' well-being, marking the nascent stages of industrial safety awareness. Transportation innovations further accelerated industrial growth. Beyond the iconic steam locomotive, engineers developed improved canal lock mechanisms, more durable iron bridges, and early versions of railway signaling systems, all enabling faster, safer, and more reliable movement of goods and people. Imagine bustling ports where newly designed cranes and hoists facilitated the loading of cargo, reducing manual labor and speeding commerce. These practical innovations, while less celebrated, were indispensable to the expanding global trade networks fueling the industrial age. Society itself felt the ripple effects of these changes. Urban landscapes reshaped by factories and transport hubs became centers of opportunity and challenge. Workers adapted to regimented schedules and new skills, while entrepreneurs seized the possibilities opened by incremental improvements in technology. The pulse of industry beat steadily, driven not only by revolutionary inventions, but also by these crucial, often unseen innovations that kept the machinery of progress turning. As you visualize this rich tapestry of activity, hear the chorus of human effort and mechanical rhythm blending into a singular force of transformation. The forgotten innovations of the Industrial Revolution remind us that progress is often a mosaic of grand ideas and subtle breakthroughs, each vital, each shaping the course of history in ways both visible and hidden. In the heart of the rapidly industrializing cities, a myriad of forgotten innovations silently reshaped not only factories, but the very fabric of daily life. Picture the narrow, smoke-filled streets of Manchester or Birmingham, where the ceaseless clatter of machinery mingled with the calls of street vendors and the footfalls of workers hurrying to and from their shifts. Beyond the iconic inventions that dominate history books, there existed a plethora of subtle technological advancements, small yet transformative ideas that improved efficiency, safety, and the quality of life for countless individuals. Consider the humble but ingenious innovations in water and steam power regulation. The development of improved steam engine governors allowed machines to maintain consistent speeds, preventing dangerous over-revving and catastrophic failures. Imagine the tense moments in a noisy factory when an engine operator adjusts the controls, ensuring the rhythmic pulse of machinery stays steady and safe. This quiet advancement was vital, not just for productivity, but for the well-being of workers who depended on the reliable hum of engines to earn their livelihoods. In parallel, the Industrial Revolution fostered progress in communication and information sharing. Early telegraph systems began to thread their way through cities and railways, connecting distant factories, ports, and markets with unprecedented speed. Envision the excitement as messages, once carried by horse or ship over days or weeks, now zipped across wires in moments, transforming business operations and the flow of goods. These invisible networks became the arteries of an industrial society, enabling coordination and growth on scales previously unimaginable. Public health and urban living also saw quiet innovations. The introduction of rudimentary sewage systems, improved street lighting with gas lamps, and early fire safety measures addressed the dire conditions of industrial cities. Picture families gathering under the warm glow of gaslight on bustling streets, feeling a flicker of security amidst the dangers of urban life. These improvements, though modest, marked the beginning of a societal commitment to the welfare of growing urban populations. On the manufacturing floor, innovations in quality control and standardization began to take root. The adoption of interchangeable parts, pioneered by lesser-known inventors, allowed for easier repair and mass production, dramatically reducing costs and downtime. Imagine a craftsman in a workshop swapping out a worn gear with a precisely made replacement, a process that once took weeks, now completed in hours. This leap forward laid the foundation for modern industrial production lines and consumer goods. As you immerse yourself in this vivid industrial tableau, feel the pulse of human ingenuity and perseverance that propelled these forgotten innovations. They were the unsung cogs in the vast machinery of change, quietly driving a world into a new era of possibility and progress. As the Industrial Revolution surged onward, the importance of energy sources and power transmission grew exponentially, sparking innovations that often went unnoticed in the grand narrative of history, but were essential to the era's transformative impact. Imagine the vast, smoky factories stretching along rivers and canals, where the pulse of steam engines reverberated through iron and brick. Behind these industrial giants, the evolution of efficient energy transfer mechanisms quietly revolutionized manufacturing and transportation. Picture a skilled engineer meticulously crafting early belt drives and pulley systems. Their hands steady as they assemble components that convert the raw power of steam into coordinated motion across factory floors. These systems, though simple in concept, required precise design and durable materials to function reliably under constant strain. Their development allowed for multiple machines to be powered simultaneously from a single engine, multiplying productivity and shaping the layout and scale of modern factories. Visualize the quiet hum of water wheels turning beneath mills, their energy harnessed through intricate gearing and transmission systems that converted natural forces into mechanical work. In rural areas, these technologies supported grain milling, textile production, and metalworking, linking traditional craftsmanship with emerging industrial processes. The interplay of water, wood, and metal in these early power systems speaks to a time when nature and human ingenuity merged to fuel progress. Alongside mechanical transmission, advancements in fuel efficiency and steam engine design emerged. Innovators experimented with improved boilers, condensers, and pressure regulation, striving to extract maximum energy while minimizing waste and danger. Imagine the tension in a workshop as engineers test new components, balancing the immense power of steam with fragile materials and limited safety knowledge. These efforts not only enhanced industrial capacity, but also laid groundwork for modern engineering disciplines. Beyond factories, these innovations transformed transportation. The development of more reliable steam engines enabled the rise of locomotives and steamships, shrinking distances and connecting markets and people like never before. Picture a bustling harbor where steam-powered vessels dock alongside sailing ships, heralding a new age of commerce and exploration. The engineering feats behind these vessels were built on the incremental innovations of countless unseen craftsmen and inventors. The social impact of these changes was profound. Industrial centers grew rapidly, drawing workers from rural areas into dense urban environments. The rhythms of life shifted to the beat of machines and factory whistles, marking a departure from agrarian cycles. Families adapted to new work schedules, communities formed around mills and railways, and the very fabric of society began to transform under the influence of industrial energy. As you immerse yourself in this vibrant panorama of energy and motion, sense the unheralded innovations that powered the Industrial Revolution, mechanical marvels and engineering breakthroughs that, while often overshadowed by grand inventions, were indispensable to the age's sweeping changes. These quiet revolutions in power and transmission illuminate the human drive to harness nature's forces and reshape the world. As the smoke and steam of the Industrial Revolution thickened over burgeoning cities, the intricate dance of invention continued in workshops and factories, fueled by a relentless desire to solve practical problems and improve efficiency. Among the myriad forgotten innovations were advancements in factory safety, worker welfare, and mechanization that quietly but profoundly reshaped industrial labor. Imagine the dimly lit textile mills, where towering spinning machines and looms hummed ceaselessly, their gears and belts moving in perfect synchrony. In these noisy, crowded spaces, the risk of accidents was high, and the health toll on workers, especially children, was immense. Yet early inventors began to respond with practical solutions: rudimentary safety guards to shield moving parts, emergency stop mechanisms, and improved ventilation systems designed to clear dust and fumes. These innovations reflected a growing awareness of the human cost of industrial progress and marked the nascent steps toward workplace safety. Visualize a worker carefully inspecting a newly installed safety mechanism, a mixture of relief and cautious hope on their face, as the ominous clatter of machinery no longer feels quite as threatening. These improvements, though primitive by today's standards, laid the groundwork for future labor reforms and the concept that industry must protect its workforce as well as its profits. Meanwhile, innovations in mechanization continued to accelerate productivity. The development of specialized tools and attachments for existing machinery allowed for greater precision and speed. Consider the evolution of the power loom, which, beyond its initial invention, saw numerous incremental improvements: better shuttles, more efficient harnesses, and automated filling mechanisms that transformed textile production into a marvel of industrial efficiency. These technological leaps were accompanied by innovations in materials science. The discovery and refinement of new alloys and the introduction of mass-produced steel changed the durability and capabilities of machines and infrastructure. Imagine foundries where molten metal was poured into molds, giving rise to components that would withstand the rigors of factory floors and railway tracks. These advances extended the lifespan of industrial equipment and enabled the expansion of networks essential for commerce and communication. Socially, the innovations of this period influenced the daily rhythms of workers' lives. Timekeeping devices became increasingly important, with factory whistles and clocks regulating work shifts and breaks. The emergence of standard time zones, prompted by railway schedules and industrial demands, began to synchronize the nation's pace, weaving industry into the very fabric of everyday life. As you immerse yourself in this vivid landscape of invention and adaptation, feel the quiet but powerful impact of these forgotten innovations, the safety devices, mechanization refinements, and material breakthroughs that collectively transformed industry from a chaotic cacophony into a coordinated symphony of progress. They stand as testament to the ingenuity and compassion that propelled the Industrial Revolution forward, shaping not only machines, but the lives they touched. As the Industrial Revolution continued to reshape the world, one of the most transformative yet often overlooked arenas was the evolution of transportation infrastructure. Envision the sprawling web of canals, roads, and railways that gradually connected cities, ports, and industrial centers, weaving together the vast expanse of an emerging modern economy. These networks were not built overnight. They were the culmination of countless small but vital innovations in engineering, materials, and logistics. Imagine the meticulous work of canal engineers designing locks and aqueducts that allowed boats to traverse varied terrains, overcoming hills and valleys with ingenuity and precision. These waterways, often lined with towpaths, where horses patiently pulled barges laden with coal, textiles, and raw materials, were lifelines of commerce, dramatically reducing the cost and time of transport. The rhythmic clip-clop of hooves and the gentle splash of water echoed through misty mornings as goods flowed steadily between factories and markets. Simultaneously, the advent of the steam locomotive revolutionized overland transport. Picture the first iron tracks laid with painstaking care, their rails forged from newly developed steel alloys designed for strength and durability. The thunderous roar of a steam engine approaching a station broke the usual quiet of rural landscapes, a herald of progress and change. Early innovations in rail signaling and safety mechanisms, though simple, were critical in preventing accidents and coordinating increasingly busy rail networks. Beyond the physical infrastructure, logistical innovations quietly transformed supply chains. The introduction of standardized shipping containers, palletization, and scheduling methods optimized the movement of goods, laying the groundwork for modern logistics. Visualize bustling railway yards where workers efficiently loaded and unloaded cargo, their coordinated efforts a dance that kept industries supplied and markets thriving. These transportation advances also had profound social effects. They shrank distances, bringing rural areas into closer contact with urban centers and enabling the rapid movement of people. Migration patterns shifted as individuals sought new opportunities in industrial towns, reshaping demographics and cultures. The speed and reliability of transport fostered a sense of connection and possibility previously unimaginable. As you immerse yourself in this dynamic panorama of canals, rails, and roads, feel the heartbeat of innovation that propelled the Industrial Revolution forward. These forgotten transportation innovations were not merely mechanical achievements. They were catalysts of economic expansion, social change, and the relentless human drive to connect and progress. As the Industrial Revolution marched onward, the field of communication witnessed a profound transformation through innovations that often go unnoticed, yet were pivotal in knitting together an expanding industrial society. Picture the dimly lit rooms of early telegraph stations, the quiet tapping of Morse code echoing across wires that stretched tirelessly over mountains, rivers, and vast plains. This invisible network became the nervous system of a world in motion, linking factories, ports, and markets in real time for the first time in human history. Envision a telegraph operator in a bustling railway hub, fingers deftly tapping out messages that could reach distant cities in moments, where before, news and instructions took days or weeks. The pulse of this technology brought unprecedented speed to commerce, governance, and personal communication, shrinking the vast distances that once separated communities. The telegraph was more than a tool. It was a revolution in how people connected and cooperated, enabling industries to synchronize and economies to grow at new paces. Alongside telegraphy, early experiments in pneumatic tubes and optical telegraphs added layers to the burgeoning communication web. These systems, though primitive by modern standards, were marvels of their time, sending messages through pressurized air or visual signals, further enhancing the speed and reliability of information exchange. Picture a courier rushing to release a message into a network of tubes beneath city streets, or a distant tower flashing semaphore signals across a landscape, their flickering lights bridging physical gaps with coded meaning. The impact of these communication innovations rippled through society. They transformed journalism, allowing news to travel swiftly, shaping public opinion and awareness. Political leaders and businessmen relied on rapid communication to make timely decisions, while families sent messages bridging vast separations. The world became smaller, more interconnected, and more dynamic. This era also saw the emergence of standardized postal systems, streamlining the delivery of physical correspondence and packages. The introduction of postage stamps, mail coaches, and later railway mail services reflected an increasing demand for reliable communication in everyday life. Imagine the excitement and anticipation as letters traveled faster and more predictably than ever before, carrying hopes, news, and connections across distances. As you immerse yourself in this network of wires, tubes, and signals, feel the heartbeat of innovation pulsing through the veins and seconds of the Industrial Revolution. These forgotten advances in communication not only propelled economic growth, but also reshaped human relationships, laying the groundwork for the connected world we inhabit today. As the Industrial Revolution advanced, the impact of forgotten innovations in agriculture and food production began to reveal itself, quietly transforming not just factories and cities, but also the rural landscapes and daily lives of millions. Imagine the sprawling countryside dotted with farms, fields stretching endlessly under gray skies, where centuries-old farming methods were steadily replaced by ingenious machinery and improved techniques, setting the stage for modern agriculture. Picture a farmer standing beside a newly invented mechanical seed drill, its wheels pressing precise furrows into the earth, depositing seeds at consistent depths and spacing. This innovation, subtle yet revolutionary, vastly improved crop yields and efficiency, reducing the labor intensity of planting and ensuring more reliable harvests. The rhythmic turning of wheels and the soft thud of seeds falling into freshly turned soil marked a new era of productivity and possibility. Alongside mechanical advances, improvements in crop rotation, soil management, and selective breeding of livestock were quietly but profoundly reshaping food production. The knowledge shared in agricultural societies and printed manuals spread innovative practices across rural communities, connecting farmers to a broader network of ideas and techniques. Envision gatherings in village halls, where farmers exchanged wisdom under the flickering light of oil lamps, eager to learn about the latest advancements that could secure their livelihoods. This agricultural transformation had profound social effects. Increased productivity freed many from the grueling cycle of subsistence farming, enabling migration to industrial cities and fueling urban growth. Yet it also brought challenges: shifts in rural economies, changing social structures, and the dislocation of traditional ways of life. In the realm of food preservation and processing, forgotten innovations also played vital roles. The development of improved refrigeration techniques, early canning methods, and mechanized milling transformed how food was stored, transported, and consumed. Imagine bustling markets and kitchens where preserved goods and freshly milled flour became staples, extending the reach of industrial society into everyday sustenance. As you immerse yourself in this tapestry of fields, farms, and food, feel the undercurrent of innovation that fueled the Industrial Revolution's most fundamental transformation: the way humans cultivated and consumed the Earth's bounty. These forgotten agricultural advancements quietly nurtured the growing population and urban workforce, sustaining the engines of industry and progress. As the Industrial Revolution surged onward into the 19th century, the role of forgotten innovations in the field of medicine and public health quietly reshaped the human experience amidst rapid urbanization and industrial growth. Picture the crowded, bustling streets of Victorian-era cities, narrow alleyways teeming with people, horse-drawn carriages rattling over cobblestones, and factory chimneys billowing thick clouds of smoke into the gray sky. Amid this frenetic urban life, disease and poor sanitation were pervasive threats, claiming countless lives and challenging the very fabric of society. Yet beneath the chaos, pioneering minds worked tirelessly to develop innovations that would change the course of public health forever. Early advances in sanitation infrastructure, such as rudimentary sewer systems and waste management techniques, began to alleviate the unbearable stench and filth of overcrowded neighborhoods. Imagine engineers and laborers laboring to dig underground tunnels, channeling waste away from homes and streets, while city planners devised new ways to bring clean water to urban populations. These infrastructure projects were monumental undertakings, often fraught with technical challenges and social resistance, but their impact was profound. Medical innovations, though often overshadowed by later breakthroughs, also took root during this time. The development of anesthesia transformed surgical practice, allowing for more complex and less painful procedures. Picture a dimly lit operating theater where a patient, under the effects of ether, lies still as a surgeon carefully makes an incision, an unimaginable relief compared to the agonizing surgeries of the past. Vaccination programs against diseases like smallpox began to spread, reflecting an evolving understanding of disease prevention and public health policy. Public health initiatives extended beyond medicine to education and social reform. Campaigns to improve hygiene, reduce overcrowding, and promote healthier living conditions began to gain momentum, driven by the recognition that a healthy workforce was essential to sustaining industrial growth. Envision public posters urging cleanliness, schools teaching basic hygiene, and charitable organizations working to aid the urban poor, all contributing to a gradual but vital improvement in societal well-being. As you immerse yourself in this complex and transformative era, feel the intertwining of human suffering and hope, challenge, and progress. The forgotten medical and public health innovations of the Industrial Revolution were not merely technical achievements. They were lifelines that helped millions survive and adapt to the rapidly changing world around them, shaping the future of medicine and society in ways that still resonate today. As the 19th century drew to a close, the echoes of the Industrial Revolution's forgotten innovations reverberated through the world, marking an era of profound transformation and laying the groundwork for the modern age. Picture the vast urban landscapes where factories towered alongside new offices and cultural institutions, their smokestacks reaching skyward as symbols of human ingenuity and relentless progress. Yet beneath the visible grandeur lay countless innovations, small, practical, often overlooked, that collectively reshaped economies, societies, and daily life in ways both subtle and monumental. In this twilight of the Industrial Revolution, the accumulated knowledge of engineers, inventors, and laborers converged into increasingly sophisticated machines and systems. Imagine the hum of electric motors beginning to replace steam engines, signaling a shift toward new energy paradigms that would soon revolutionize industry and communication. The rise of telephony and electrification built upon the foundations laid by earlier innovations, connecting people and powering cities in ways once thought impossible. Beyond technology, the social fabric was irrevocably altered. The improvements in public health, education, transportation, and communication gave rise to a burgeoning middle class and expanded opportunities for many. Picture children attending schools made possible by educational reforms, families enjoying goods produced through efficient industrial processes, and communities connected by railways and telegraphs, all threads woven from the fabric of those forgotten innovations. Yet the legacy of this era is not solely one of progress, but also of complexity and contradiction. The industrialization that fueled prosperity also brought environmental degradation, labor struggles, and profound social change. The forgotten innovations, while catalysts for growth, also underscored the need for thoughtful stewardship of technology and society. As you immerse yourself in this final reflection, feel the enduring spirit of innovation and human endeavor that propelled the Industrial Revolution forward. These overlooked breakthroughs remind us that history is shaped not only by grand inventions, but by countless small steps, often unheralded, taken by many hands and minds. Their story is a tribute to the power of human creativity and resilience, a beacon illuminating the path from past to future. As we leave behind the bustling world of industry and innovation, Let us now journey to a place of serene stillness and timeless wisdom. Nestled high among the snow-capped peaks of the Himalayas lie the quiet monasteries, sanctuaries of peace, reflection, and ancient tradition. These secluded havens, shrouded in mist and embraced by the rugged landscape, have stood for centuries as beacons of spiritual resilience and gentle contemplation. In the silence of these monasteries, monks follow daily rhythms set by prayer, meditation, and simple work, embodying a profound connection to nature and the divine. The air is crisp and thin, filled with the faint scent of incense and the soft chant of ancient mantras carried on the mountain breeze. Here, life unfolds slowly, offering a contrast to the hurried pace of the modern world and inviting us to pause, breathe, and listen deeply. Join me as we explore the sacred spaces and quiet lives of those who dwell in the Himalayas monasteries. A journey into calmness, wisdom, and the enduring human spirit. High amidst the towering peaks of the Himalayas, where the air grows thin and the world below seems distant and dreamlike, lie the quiet monasteries, sanctuaries carved from stone and spirit, perched precariously on cliffs, and nestled in secluded valleys. These monasteries, often centuries old, stand as testaments to human endurance and devotion, places where time seems to slow and the noise of the modern world fades into a distant hum. Imagine the early morning light filtering softly through prayer flags, fluttering in the crisp mountain breeze, their vibrant colors muted by mist and distance. The scent of burning juniper and sandalwood incense mingles with the pure, cold air, creating an atmosphere thick with reverence and calm. Within stone walls weathered by countless seasons, monks clad in deep maroon robes move with quiet purpose, their footsteps echoing softly on worn stone floors. Life here is dictated by rhythms far removed from the rush of cities. Dawn breaks not with alarms, but with the gentle tolling of temple bells, calling the faithful to meditation and chant. The melodic intonations of ancient prayers fill the air, weaving a tapestry of sound that resonates with the mountain itself, inviting contemplation and inner stillness. Monks sit cross-legged in simple chambers, their faces serene, eyes closed in deep focus, embodying centuries of spiritual practice and mindfulness. Outside the monastery walls, the landscape stretches vast and sublime. Snow-capped peaks pierce the sky, their jagged edges softened by swirling clouds. Valleys below cradle small villages where life moves slowly, sustained by tradition and connection to the land. The silence here is profound, not an absence but a presence, a living thing that invites reflection and peace. Consider the dedication required to maintain these sanctuaries, often isolated by treacherous paths and harsh weather. Supplies are carried up steep trails by yak caravans, and every stone in the monastery is a marker of human effort and faith. The monks' daily tasks, tending sacred gardens, copying ancient texts, preparing meals, are acts of devotion, each imbued with meaning and mindfulness. As you immerse yourself in the serene world, feel the profound stillness that pervades the Himalayan monasteries, a silence rich with wisdom and compassion. These quiet places offer a refuge not only for those who dwell within, but also for those who seek to find peace amidst life's storms. They stand as enduring symbols of the human spirit's quest for meaning, connection, and transcendence. As the soft light of dawn gently embraces the rugged peaks of the Himalayas, the quiet monasteries awaken to another day of timeless ritual and profound contemplation. Imagine the thin, crisp mountain air filled with the faint rustle of prayer flags catching the breeze, their colors bright against the stark stone and snow. Inside the monastery walls, the scent of burning incense curls lazily upward, mingling with the subtle aroma of aged wood and worn parchment, creating a sensory tapestry that envelops the sacred space. The monks begin their day not with haste, but with deliberate calmness. They move silently through narrow corridors, their maroon robes whispering against ancient stone, each step a practiced meditation. The sound of rhythmic chanting soon fills the halls, a melodic chorus of ancient mantras that seem to echo beyond the monastery, intertwining with the distant cry of mountain birds and the whisper of the wind. This sacred soundscape is more than ritual. It is a living prayer, a bridge between the earthly and the divine. The daily routines of the monks reflect a harmonious balance between spiritual discipline and humble service. Picture them tending to the monastery's small vegetable gardens, where hardy plants flourish despite the altitude and climate, a testament to resilience and care. Others are engrossed in the meticulous task of copying sacred texts by hand, their brushstrokes deliberate and reverent, preserving centuries of wisdom for future generations. Each act, no matter how simple, is infused with meaning and mindfulness, a practice of presence that transcends the mundane. Outside, the Himalayan landscape unfolds in breathtaking grandeur, a panorama of towering peaks dusted with snow, deep valleys veiled in morning mist, and glacial rivers winding like silver threads through the terrain. The monastery's perch offers a vantage point of both solitude and connection, a place where the vastness of nature invites reflection on the interconnectedness of all things. Life in these monasteries is not isolated from the world, but deeply intertwined with the rhythms of the mountain communities. Villagers from nearby settlements make pilgrimages along narrow paths, their faces weathered by altitude and sun, carrying offerings and seeking blessings. The monks, in turn, provide spiritual guidance, healing rituals, and a sense of continuity that anchors these remote populations in tradition and hope. Amidst the silence and sacredness, there is also a quiet resilience. The monks endure harsh winters, scarce resources, and the physical challenges of high-altitude living. Their dedication is a profound testament to faith and the human spirit's capacity for peace amid adversity. As the day unfolds and the sun dips behind the peaks, casting long shadows over stone walls and prayer wheels, the monastery settles once more into contemplative stillness, inviting all who listen to find serenity within themselves. As the sun climbs higher above the Himalayan peaks, bathing the ancient monasteries in a soft golden light, the rhythm of life within these sacred walls unfolds with gentle grace and profound purpose. Imagine the warm glow of morning sunlight filtering through narrow windows, carved into thick stone walls, casting intricate patterns on worn wooden floors that have borne the footsteps of countless generations. The air is crisp, but carries the faint warmth of the hearth fires that sustain the monks through chilly mountain days. Within the monastery's courtyard, the subtle sounds of daily life create a serene symphony. The soft rustling of prayer flags fluttering in the breeze, the gentle clang of a metal gong signaling the hour, and the muted murmur of monks engaged in quiet conversation or solitary contemplation. Their faces reflect a calm centeredness, etched with the quiet dignity of a life devoted to spiritual seeking and mindful presence. The monks' daily tasks are varied yet harmonious, embodying a balance between meditation, study, and simple labor. Picture a monk carefully tending to a small herb garden, his fingers gently brushing over leaves that will become medicine or incense. Nearby, another monk meticulously arranges offerings at an altar adorned with delicate statues and flickering butter lamps, symbols of enlightenment and compassion. Elsewhere, the rhythmic turning of ancient prayer wheels blends with soft chanting, creating a living prayer that permeates the air. This life of devotion is steeped in centuries of tradition, passed down through oral teachings and sacred texts, many of which are painstakingly preserved in the monastery's library. Visualize rows of fragile manuscripts and scrolls, their delicate pages inscribed with intricate calligraphy and colorful illustrations. Monks spend hours copying and studying these texts, safeguarding knowledge that connects them to a lineage stretching back through history and across cultures. Beyond the walls, the Himalayan landscape continues to inspire awe and reflection. Jagged peaks, cloaked in snow and mist, stand sentinel over deep valleys carved by ancient glaciers. The monastic communities live in intimate harmony with this environment, observing natural rhythms and cycles with reverence. Seasonal festivals mark transitions in the year, celebrated with quiet rituals that honor both the spiritual and the natural world. Despite the remoteness and tranquility, the monks' lives are not untouched by the modern world. Some monasteries serve as centers of learning and cultural preservation, welcoming pilgrims and scholars who journey from afar seeking wisdom and solace. Here, ancient practices meet contemporary challenges as the monks navigate the delicate balance of tradition and change. As you immerse yourself in this luminous tableau of devotion and nature, sense the profound stillness that defines the Himalayan monasteries, a quiet refuge where time slows and the heart opens to the mysteries of existence. These sanctuaries invite us to step away from noise and distraction, to listen deeply, and to find peace within. As afternoon light begins to wane behind the towering Himalayan peaks, The monasteries take on a contemplative, almost sacred hush. Imagine the long shadows stretching over stone courtyards, where prayer wheels slowly turn, their soft whirring blending with the gentle murmur of chants and the occasional flutter of fluttering prayer flags. The air carries a delicate chill, tinged with the faint aroma of burning incense and the earthiness of ancient wood and stone. Within these walls, the monks continue their timeless routines, each movement purposeful and steeped in meaning. Picture a small group gathered in a quiet chamber, their voices rising and falling in melodic harmony as they chant sutras, ancient verses that weave spiritual teachings with poetic grace. The intensity of their focus is palpable, their minds attuned to the subtle vibrations of the sacred words, as if in dialogue with the very mountains surrounding them. Elsewhere, solitary monks retreat into meditation caves carved into rocky cliffs, where the silence is profound and the only sounds are the steady rhythm of their breath and the distant echo of a waterfall. These secluded sanctuaries offer space for deep introspection, a place where the boundary between self and universe blurs in the cool, clear mountain air. The monastery kitchens are alive with quiet activity, as monks prepare simple, nourishing meals, often vegetarian fare grown in terraced gardens on the mountain slopes. The rhythmic chopping of vegetables, the soft bubbling of stews, and the occasional clink of pottery create a humble symphony that nourishes both body and spirit. Sharing meals together reinforces the bonds of community, a vital thread in the fabric of monastic life. Outside the monastery gates, the world continues its relentless pace. But here, time flows differently. Seasonal festivals bring brief bursts of color and celebration. Flames from butter lamps flicker against the dark sky, dances and prayers intertwine, and the ancient rhythms of life are honored with reverence. Yet even amid festivity, the prevailing spirit is one of peace and mindfulness, a reminder of the deeper currents that sustain these mountain sanctuaries. As twilight descends, the monks light the last of the butter lamps, their soft glow casting dancing shadows on the walls. The day closes with a final gathering in the main temple, where chants rise once more, carrying prayers for compassion, wisdom, and peace into the still Himalayan night. As you immerse yourself in this serene scene, feel the deep calm and enduring spirit that define the quiet monasteries of the Himalayas, places where the sacred and the natural intertwine, offering refuge and insight for all who seek stillness amid the world's noise. As night gently falls over the towering peaks of the Himalayas, the quiet monasteries transform into sanctuaries of profound stillness and introspection. The deep indigo sky, dotted with countless stars, stretches infinitely above, while the cool mountain air carries a crispness that sharpens the senses yet soothes the soul. Imagine the flickering glow of butter lamps casting soft, warm light onto ancient stone walls, their gentle flames creating dancing shadows that seem to breathe with the silent prayers of the monks. Within the dimly lit temples, the rhythmic chanting of evening prayers fills the sacred spaces, a melodic thread weaving through the silence and the vastness beyond. Each monk's voice rises and falls with deliberate grace, embodying centuries of devotion and the timeless pursuit of enlightenment. The sound is at once intimate and expansive, connecting the hearers to a spiritual lineage that transcends time and place. Picture the solitary figures seated in meditation halls, their silhouettes bathed in candlelight, eyes closed, bodies still yet vibrantly alive with focused energy. In these moments, the boundary between self and universe blurs, as the monks sink deeper into states of mindfulness and transcendence. The cold stone beneath them contrasts with the warmth of inner calm, a physical and metaphysical harmony emblematic of monastic life. Outside, the world is hushed, save for the occasional whisper of wind threading through prayer flags and the distant howl of mountain wolves. The monasteries stand as bastions of peace amidst a landscape both majestic and formidable, their presence a reminder of humanity's quest for serenity amid nature's grandeur. The monks' nocturnal rituals are both deeply personal and communal. After the collective chants, some engage in study, poring over illuminated manuscripts by the flickering lamplight, preserving ancient wisdom with patient care. Others retreat into silent solitude, contemplating the day's lessons and the path ahead. As you breathe in this tranquil night, feel the profound stillness and sacredness that envelop these Himalayan monasteries. They are places of refuge and reflection, where the spirit is nurtured through discipline, devotion, and an enduring connection to the natural world. These quiet sanctuaries invite us all to pause, to listen, and to find the peace that resides within. As the first light of dawn begins to crest the jagged Himalayan peaks, a gentle awakening stirs within the quiet monasteries. The pale hues of morning, soft pinks, muted oranges, and tender blues, wash over the ancient stone walls, imbuing the sacred spaces with a subtle glow that promises a new day of contemplation and devotion. Imagine the fresh mountain air, crisp and invigorating, carrying the scent of pine needles, wildflowers, and faint traces of incense from the night before. Monks emerge from their simple quarters with practiced calm, their maroon robes flowing softly against the rugged stone and wooden surfaces. The quiet footsteps on the frost-kissed courtyards mark the beginning of their morning rituals, a sacred dance of mindfulness and purpose. The soft murmur of whispered prayers blends with the gentle rustling of prayer flags swaying in the morning breeze, creating an atmosphere thick with reverence and serene anticipation. Picture the monks gathering in the main prayer hall, the air cool and still as the flickering light of butter lamps casts elongated shadows on the ancient frescoes depicting scenes from Buddhist lore and the natural world. Their chants begin slowly, a low, resonant hum that rises and falls like the breath of the mountains themselves. The sound envelops the space, weaving through pillars and alcoves, connecting the present moment to centuries of tradition and spiritual dedication. Outside the monastery, the Himalayan landscape awakens in a symphony of subtle sounds. The distant call of a snowcock, the soft trickle of melting snow feeding crystal-clear streams, and the whisper of wind through towering cedars. The monks often take this time to walk meditative paths around the monastery grounds, their movements deliberate and mindful, eyes occasionally lifting to absorb the breathtaking vistas of snow-capped peaks piercing the sky. The morning is also a time of humble work and study. Some monks tend to terraced gardens where hardy vegetables and medicinal herbs grow against the odds of altitude and climate. Their hands move with care, harvesting leaves and roots that will sustain the community and support healing practices. Others immerse themselves in sacred texts, their fingers tracing delicate calligraphy and vivid illustrations that carry teachings of compassion, wisdom, and the impermanence of life. This harmonious blend of spiritual practice, communal labor, and communion with nature forms the heart of monastic life. It is a rhythm that nourishes body, mind, and soul, fostering resilience and clarity amid the challenges of remote mountain living. As you immerse yourself in this dawn tableau, feel the profound peace and gentle strength that define the quiet monasteries of the Himalayas. Here, amidst the grandeur of nature and the silence of devotion, lies a sanctuary where the human spirit finds rest, renewal, and connection to the timeless. As the sun climbs higher into the crisp Himalayan sky, the quiet monasteries become sanctuaries of stillness amidst a world both majestic and harsh. Imagine the intricate stone pathways winding through terraced gardens, where monks move with serene purpose, their maroon robes a vivid contrast against the muted greens and grays of the mountain landscape. The air is thin and pure, carrying with it the subtle fragrances of wild herbs, pine, and the faint lingering scent of incense from morning prayers. Within the monastery's ancient walls, life unfolds with a profound sense of harmony and discipline. The library, a treasure trove of knowledge, holds countless ancient manuscripts, their fragile pages adorned with calligraphy and delicate illustrations. Picture a monk seated at a wooden desk, bathed in soft light filtering through a small window, painstakingly copying text by hand, a sacred duty preserving centuries of wisdom against the relentless passage of time. Elsewhere, novices gather in simple classrooms, their youthful faces attentive as elder monks impart teachings that blend philosophy, meditation, and practical wisdom. These lessons are not merely academic, but form the foundation of a life dedicated to compassion, mindfulness, and self-awareness. The quiet concentration in these rooms reflects a shared commitment to inner growth and community harmony. The rhythm of daily life is punctuated by the ringing of bells, calling monks to ritual and reflection. In the temple courtyard, prayer wheels spin slowly, their continuous turning creating a gentle hum that seems to resonate with the heartbeat of the mountains themselves. The soft chanting of mantras echoes through halls and courtyards, a timeless melody weaving the present moment with ancient tradition. Outside the monastery, the landscape is a testament to nature's grandeur and fragility. Jagged peaks draped in snow frame the horizon, while below, lush valleys cradle small villages where mountain people live in close harmony with the land. The monasteries serve as spiritual beacons to these communities, offering guidance, healing, and a connection to a lineage that transcends generations. Despite the isolation and challenges posed by the harsh environment, frigid winters, scarce resources, and difficult terrain, the monks' dedication remains unwavering. Their lives are acts of quiet courage and profound faith, embodying a resilience that draws strength from simplicity and devotion. As you immerse yourself in this tranquil yet vibrant world, sense the deep interconnection of human spirit, natural beauty, and sacred tradition that defines the quiet monasteries of the Himalayas. These places offer a timeless refuge, inviting all who listen to discover stillness, wisdom, and peace within. As the golden light of late afternoon softens over the towering Himalayan peaks, the quiet monasteries seem to glow with an inner warmth, a luminous refuge where time slows and the mind can rest. Imagine the soft murmur of monks' chants drifting through open windows, blending with the gentle rustle of prayer flags dancing in the cool mountain breeze. The air is filled with the earthy aroma of damp stone, wildflowers, and the subtle smoke of sandalwood incense burning steadily in ornate holders. Within the monastery walls, the day's final tasks unfold with reverence and care. Monks tend to sacred objects, polishing brass bells, arranging delicate offerings of fruit and flowers at altars, and carefully maintaining ancient statues worn smooth by centuries of devotion. Each gesture is deliberate, a meditation in motion that honors both the physical and spiritual realms. Picture a small group of monks seated cross-legged in a circle, their voices rising and falling in harmonious chant as twilight deepens outside. The flickering glow of butter lamps casts dancing shadows that play upon frescoed walls, depicting scenes from Buddhist lore and Himalayan landscapes. This sacred light illuminates faces marked by years of contemplation, eyes closed in deep connection to a timeless tradition. Beyond the temple halls, the Himalayan landscape prepares for nightfall. Snow-capped peaks are bathed in hues of soft pink and violet, the valleys below cloaked in gentle mist. The faint call of distant wildlife punctuates the growing stillness, while the cool air begins to carry a hint of the night's chill. The monasteries stand as silent guardians amidst this vast wilderness, their presence a testament to human perseverance and spiritual devotion. As darkness falls, the monks retreat to their simple quarters, where candlelight flickers softly against rough stone walls. Some engage in solitary meditation, seeking deeper insight and peace, while others rest, gathering strength for the cycle of rituals and practices that will begin anew with dawn. In this sacred quiet, there is a profound sense of continuity, a living thread that connects past, present, and future. The monasteries of the Himalayas are more than places of worship. They are sanctuaries of the human spirit, offering refuge, wisdom, and a gentle reminder of the beauty found in stillness and simplicity. As night deepens over the Himalayan peaks, the quiet monasteries become sanctuaries of profound stillness and introspection, their ancient stones absorbing the cool breath of the mountain air. Imagine the vast sky above, a canvas of infinite stars shimmering with ethereal light, while the soft glow of butter lamps flickers gently within the monastery walls, casting warm, wavering shadows that seem to dance in harmony with the monks' serene chants. Inside the temples, the chanting rises and falls in a sacred rhythm, a timeless melody that echoes through vaulted ceilings and stone corridors. The air is thick with the scent of incense and the quiet hum of devotion, wrapping the space in a cocoon of spiritual tranquility. Monks, cloaked in maroon robes, sit in meditative stillness, their faces serene and their breaths slow, embodying a peace that transcends the physical world. Beyond the walls, the Himalayan landscape lies shrouded in moonlight and mystery. Jagged peaks stand silhouetted against the dark sky, their snowy caps gleaming softly. The distant call of an owl or the rustle of a night breeze through ancient pines punctuates the profound silence, reminding all of the delicate balance between nature and spirit. The monks' nocturnal practices are a blend of communal rituals and solitary reflection. Some engage in silent meditation, delving deep into the realms of consciousness, seeking wisdom and compassion. Others quietly read sacred texts, their fingers tracing the delicate script by candlelight, preserving the teachings that have guided generations. The monastery itself, though remote and isolated, pulses with life, a living testament to the resilience of human faith and the enduring quest for meaning. Its walls, weathered by centuries of harsh winters and mountain storms, hold countless stories of devotion, sacrifice, and enlightenment. As you immerse yourself in this sacred night, feel the profound stillness and spiritual depth that define the quiet monasteries of the Himalayas. They are more than physical structures. They are sanctuaries of the soul, inviting all who listen to find peace, clarity, and connection within. As the first light of dawn gently breaks over the towering Himalayan peaks once more, the quiet monasteries awaken from their night of sacred stillness, ready to embrace a new cycle of devotion, reflection, and humble service. The rosy glow of morning spills across snow-capped summits and softly illuminates the ancient stone walls, revealing the intricate carvings and faded murals that tell stories of centuries past. The mountain air, fresh and invigorating, carries the mingled scents of pine, earth, and lingering incense, signaling both an end and a beginning. Within the monastery courtyards, monks move with deliberate calmness, their maroon robes brushing softly against stone paths worn smooth by generations of footsteps. The gentle ringing of bells calls the community together for morning prayers, their resonant tones echoing across the valleys like a call to awaken not just the body, but the spirit. As voices rise in harmonious chant, a palpable sense of unity and peace fills the air, weaving the individuals into a collective tapestry of faith and mindfulness. The day ahead is marked by both quiet labor and deep contemplation. Some monks tend to the terraced gardens clinging to the mountainside, their hands skilled in coaxing life from rocky soil, cultivating medicinal herbs and hardy vegetables that sustain the monastic community. Others turn their attention to the monastery's treasured library, carefully restoring ancient texts and illuminating sacred manuscripts with painstaking artistry, preserving wisdom for future generations. Outside, the Himalayan landscape stretches vast and sublime, a place where nature's grandeur meets human resilience. The monasteries stand as beacons of harmony, nestled amid peaks and valleys that have witnessed the flow of time and the cycles of life. Pilgrims and villagers journey along winding trails, their steps steady despite altitude and terrain, drawn by the promise of solace, guidance, and connection offered by these sacred sanctuaries. As the sun ascends, casting golden light across prayer flags and temple roofs, the quiet monasteries of the Himalayas embody a timeless sanctuary, where the sacred and the natural converge, where the rhythms of breath and chant echo the eternal dance of the mountains. They invite all who listen to find refuge in stillness, wisdom in simplicity, and peace within the vastness of existence. As we continue our journey through history's quieter corners, perfect for those seeking calm and rest, let us now turn our gaze to the rugged beauty of the Scottish Highlands. Here, among mist-covered mountains and rolling green glens, stand the lost castles, silent witnesses to centuries gone by. These ancient stone fortresses, weathered by time and storm, hold stories of clan battles, noble lineages, and forgotten lives. In this episode of our Boring History for Sleep series, we will explore the quiet echoes of these castles, their rise, their fall, and the secrets they still guard beneath crumbling walls and overgrown ruins. As you settle in, allow the peaceful rhythms of this tale to carry you gently into the realms of history and dreams. High in the remote and windswept Scottish Highlands, where mist coils around rugged mountains and the air carries a crisp, ancient chill, stand the remnants of castles long lost to time. These stone fortresses, once proud bastions of clan power and medieval life, now lie in quiet decay, weathered by centuries of relentless wind, rain, and the slow march of nature, reclaiming what was once fiercely defended. Imagine the landscape stretching endlessly, a tapestry of heather-clad hills, deep lochs reflecting muted skies, and narrow glens winding between craggy peaks, setting the stage for stories steeped in mystery, honor, and quiet solitude. The castles themselves were centers of power and refuge during turbulent times, places where chieftains governed their lands and clans gathered to defend their heritage against rivals and invaders. Picture towering stone walls, thick and formidable, constructed from local granite and shaped by generations of skilled masons. Battlements once bristled with archers, and great halls echoed with the sounds of feasts, strategy, and the forging of alliances. Yet beneath this image of strength lies the slow unraveling of history, the gradual abandonment as political tides shifted and the old ways gave way to new. Visualize the abandoned courtyards, overgrown with wild grasses and heather, where the footsteps of long-gone inhabitants have faded into the whispers of the wind. Moss clings to crumbling stone arches, and ivy snakes its way up broken walls, softening the hard edges with green life. The silence here is profound, punctuated only by the distant call of a lone bird or the rustle of leaves, a living testament to the passage of time and the quiet endurance of the land. These lost castles also hold secrets, stories of love and betrayal, of battles fought in shadow and light, and of lives lived amidst hardship and fleeting triumph. Consider the legends passed down through generations, woven into the fabric of Highland culture and echoing softly among the ruins. Tales of haunted halls and hidden passages invite the imagination to wander, while the tangible history grounds us in the resilience of those who shaped this rugged landscape. As you settle into this tale of the lost castles, allow the gentle cadence of history, its slow unfolding and quiet mysteries, to lull you into peaceful reflection. This is a journey not just through stone and story, but into the heart of a land where history breathes softly beneath the heather and sky. As the soft mist rolls gently through the valleys of the Scottish Highlands, the lost castles emerge from the haze like silent sentinels, their weathered stones telling tales of centuries long past. Picture a cold, gray morning where the dampness clings to every surface, and the faint scent of peat smoke drifts from a distant village. The landscape is rugged and wild, steep hills blanketed in dense forests, with narrow rivers carving their way towards shimmering lochs below. Amidst this dramatic scenery, the castles stand, often perched precariously on rocky outcrops or nestled within deep glens, their imposing silhouettes softened by time and nature's embrace. These fortresses were once the heartbeats of clan life, centers of governance, protection, and celebration. Imagine the bustle of daily activity within their thick stone walls, the clang of blacksmiths forging weapons, the lively chatter of servants preparing for a feast, and the strategic discussions of chieftains plotting alliances or defending their territories. Each castle was a microcosm of Highland society, reflecting the complexities of kinship, loyalty, and survival. Yet life within these castles was far from tranquil. The Highlands were a land of fierce loyalty but also brutal conflict. Consider the clans' long-standing rivalries, where battles erupted over land, honor, and power. The castles bore witness to sieges, skirmishes, and the ever-present tension of war. Visualize the sharp clang of swords, the crackle of arrows in flight, and the resolute faces of defenders standing firm against invaders, all framed by the cold stone and swirling mists outside. Over time, as political power centralized and the nature of warfare changed, many castles lost their strategic importance. Some were abandoned, their stones repurposed for nearby villages, or left to crumble under the relentless Highland weather. The once vibrant halls fell silent, their stories fading into legend. Imagine the solitude settling over these ruins, the echoes of laughter and battle replaced by the whispering wind and the slow growth of wildflowers among fallen battlements. Despite their decay, these castles remain deeply woven into the cultural fabric of the Highlands. They inspire songs, poems, and stories that preserve the memory of a proud and resilient people. Think of the bards who, by flickering hearth fires, recounted tales of heroism and heartbreak, ensuring that the spirit of the clans lived on through generations. As you immerse yourself in this quiet, haunting landscape, let the slow, measured telling of these lost castles' histories wash over you like the gentle Highland rain, a soothing rhythm that connects the past with the present, inviting restful reflection and peaceful dreams. As the day stretches on in the Scottish Highlands, the lost castles sit quietly beneath ever-shifting skies, their stones soaked with history and mystery. Imagine the soft light of a late afternoon sun filtering through clouds that drift lazily across the mountains, casting dancing shadows on the moss-covered walls and fallen turrets. The air is cool and fresh, carrying the scent of wild heather, damp earth, and distant pine forests, while the gentle murmur of a nearby stream adds a soothing soundtrack to this ancient scene. Within these silent ruins, echoes of past lives linger, echoes of whispered conversations in dimly lit chambers, the clatter of armor in narrow hallways, and the distant strains of a harp played in the great hall. Visualize the once grand banquet tables now empty, save for the scattered remnants of pottery and iron candlesticks, telling stories of feasts where clan leaders gathered to forge alliances or celebrate victories. Each cracked stone and crumbled archway holds memories of joy and sorrow, resilience, and loss. The castles were not merely fortresses, but homes filled with human hopes and fears. Imagine the women and children who sought refuge within thick walls during raids, their prayers mingling with the flickering light of hearth fires. Picture the blacksmith's forge, where the heat of the fire and the ringing of hammer on anvil shape the tools and weapons necessary for survival. The daily rhythms of castle life unfolded against a backdrop of harsh weather and isolation, demanding endurance and community. Yet the relentless passage of time and changing political landscapes led many of these castles to be forsaken. Wars ceased, and power shifted to distant cities, rendering once mighty strongholds obsolete. Nature, patient and persistent, claimed what was left behind. Ivy crawled over battlements, wildflowers bloomed in abandoned courtyards, and wildlife found sanctuary amid the ruins. The castles became part of the landscape itself, quiet monuments to a bygone era. Despite their solitude, the lost castles continue to inspire a sense of wonder and connection. They stand as gateways to the past, inviting us to imagine the lives once lived within their walls and to reflect on the impermanence of power and place. As the light fades and twilight descends upon the highlands, the castles rest beneath a sky shimmering with stars, their stories whispered softly on the highland breeze, beckoning dreamers and history lovers alike. As you settle into this serene reflection, allow the soothing cadence of these tales to lull you into peaceful rest, carrying you gently into the quiet realms of sleep, where history and dreams intertwine in tranquil harmony. As twilight descends over the Scottish Highlands, the lost castles are bathed in a soft, ethereal glow, a quiet transformation that reveals their haunting beauty and timeless solitude. Picture the fading light casting long shadows across crumbled walls and moss-covered stones, where wildflowers sway gently in the cool evening breeze. The air grows still, carrying with it the subtle sense of damp earth, heather, and the faint trace of wood smoke from distant hearths, as the landscape settles into the peaceful hush of night. Within this tranquil scene, the castles stand as silent storytellers, their stones whispering tales of loyalty and loss, of battles fought and peace sought. Imagine the last rays of sunlight glinting off weathered arrow slits and faded heraldic banners, once proudly displayed in great halls now empty. The echoes of laughter and song, of strategy and prayer, linger faintly in the cool air, inviting reflection on the lives and legacies woven into these ancient stones. The castle ruins, though worn by time, continue to evoke a powerful connection to the past. Walk through imagined corridors where footsteps once hurried in urgency, where noble gatherings debated the fate of clans, and where ordinary folk sought shelter from the storms of both nature and conflict. The flicker of torchlight, the murmur of voices, and the weight of history create an atmosphere thick with emotion and memory. Outside the castles, the highlands themselves seem to hold vigil over these remnants. Rolling mists creep along hillsides, wrapping the landscape in mystery, while distant mountain peaks stand sentinel beneath a sky painted with stars. The quiet hum of nature, rustling leaves, distant owls, and the gentle flow of rivers provides a soothing backdrop to the solitude of the ruins. As night deepens, the castle's stories fold into the fabric of the land, offering a refuge for dreams and a passage into restful sleep. These lost castles, though silent and still, are alive with the spirit of history, a slow, steady heartbeat that invites all who listen to find calm, comfort, and connection in the serene embrace of the Scottish Highlands. As dawn gently breaks over the rolling hills and rugged mountains of the Scottish Highlands, the lost castles stand quietly, bathed in the soft, golden light of morning. The air is crisp and cool, carrying the scent of dew-kissed heather and damp earth, mingling with the faint aroma of peat smoke drifting from distant cottages nestled in the valleys below. Imagine the serene stillness of this early hour, where time seems to pause and the world awakens slowly amidst the ancient stones. The castles, though long abandoned, continue to command the landscape with a quiet dignity. Picture their towering walls, now crumbling but still proud, silhouetted against a pale sky. Ivy and wildflowers creep through cracks in the masonry, softening the rugged contours with bursts of green and color. The ruins are alive with the gentle hum of nature, birds singing, a distant stream babbling, and the whisper of the wind weaving through the battlements. Within these remnants of a bygone era, the stories of those who lived, loved, and fought echo softly. Imagine the clatter of armor and the murmur of council meetings that once filled these halls, the echoes of laughter from festive gatherings, and the solemn prayers of monks rise faintly from the stones. The castles were more than mere fortifications. They were homes, centers of culture and power, places where the drama of human life unfolded against the wild backdrop of the highlands. The surrounding landscape mirrors this blend of beauty and history. Mist often curls through the glens, lending an air of mystery and timelessness. Ancient forests stand sentinel, their gnarled trees whispering secrets of centuries past. As you wander through these imagined scenes, the interplay of nature and history creates a tapestry rich with emotion and reflection. Life in the highlands was shaped by the land as much as by the clans who called it home. Harsh winters, rugged terrain, and the isolation of mountain valleys forged a resilient spirit among the people. The lost castles, standing in quiet witness, embody this endurance, a testament to human strength and the passage of time. As you settle into this tranquil moment, allow the gentle unfolding of history, the vivid imagery, and the soft sounds of the highlands to carry you into restful peace. These lost castles invite us to embrace stillness, to honor the past, and to find calm amidst the timeless beauty of the Scottish landscape. As the day matures and the Scottish Highlands bask in the soft glow of afternoon light, the lost castles stand as solemn witnesses to the ebb and flow of history. The warm sun filters through scattered clouds, casting a dappled pattern over moss-covered stones and wild grasses that sway gently in the mountain breeze. The air is tinged with the fragrant scent of blooming heather and the earthy aroma of ancient stone warmed by the sun, inviting a deep breath and quiet reflection. Visualize the grand courtyards where once nobles and warriors gathered, now silent save for the distant song of a lark or the rustling of leaves in a nearby thicket. The scattered remnants of stone walls and collapsed towers form a rugged maze, whispering secrets of long-forgotten feasts, whispered intrigues, and the steady pulse of daily life that once animated these halls. The intricate craftsmanship of carved archways and weathered battlements hints at the skill and artistry of medieval masons, who shaped these strongholds to withstand both the elements and the turbulence of clan rivalries. Beyond the stones, the highland landscape stretches in vast, breathtaking beauty, rolling hills dappled with patches of sunlight, serene lochs reflecting the blue-gray sky, and jagged mountain peaks rising majestically into the horizon. The land itself feels alive, its wild beauty intertwined with the human stories etched into every crag and valley. Imagine the harsh winters that challenged the castle inhabitants, the fierce storms that lashed against stone walls, and the resilience required to endure in such a formidable environment. The castles, though silent now, continue to inspire imagination and reverence. Their ruins beckon explorers and dreamers alike to walk their ancient paths, to sense the lingering spirit of those who built and defended these fortresses. These stones are repositories of memory, bridging the gap between past and present, inviting us to ponder the lives of those who came before and the impermanence of power and place. As the afternoon fades into evening, the light softens, casting long shadows and bathing the landscape in a gentle, amber hue. The lost castles, resting beneath a sky streaked with clouds and kissed by the fading sun, stand as enduring symbols of a world where history and nature intertwine. Quiet places where stories sleep softly, ready to be awakened by the attentive listener. Allow yourself to be carried on this gentle journey through time and place, embracing the peaceful cadence of history as it unfolds amidst the tranquil beauty of the Scottish Highlands. Let these tales, told in the quiet company of ancient stones and wild landscapes, guide you gently toward rest and renewal. As twilight gently descends upon the rugged Scottish Highlands, the lost castles stand in quiet majesty, their weathered stones bathed in the soft, fading glow of a sinking sun. The air cools swiftly, carrying the fresh, earthy scent of damp moss and wild heather, mingling with the faint trace of wood smoke drifting from distant crofts. The landscape, vast and wild, seems to exhale a serene hush, inviting reflection and calm. Picture the deepening shadows stretching over crumbling walls and ivy-clad towers, where centuries of history are etched into every stone. The castles, once bustling centers of power and life, now exist as serene monuments to a bygone era, silent witnesses to the passage of time, standing resilient against the relentless forces of nature and change. Imagine wandering through the labyrinth of broken archways and overgrown courtyards, each step echoing softly on worn flagstones, as if treading lightly on the memories of those who once walked these grounds. Within these ruins, the echoes of clan feuds, royal intrigues, and long-forgotten celebrations linger in the stillness. The laughter of banquets and the solemn vows of allegiance seem to ripple faintly through the cool evening air. Visualize the great halls where lords and ladies gathered, warmed by roaring hearths, their voices carrying stories of honor, loyalty, and loss. These stones, though fractured and weathered, hold the whispers of generations, inviting all who listen to journey back through time. Beyond the castle walls, the highland wilderness unfolds in breathtaking grandeur. Mist rises from the glens, weaving through ancient forest and rolling hills, while the silhouette of distant mountains looms against a sky painted in hues of deep blue and violet. The first stars begin to twinkle, their light reflected in the still waters of nearby lochs, creating a mirror to the heavens above. As night deepens, the castles settle into a tranquil repose, their stories folded into the fabric of the land. The gentle rustle of leaves and the distant call of an owl provide a soothing soundtrack, blending with the quiet heartbeat of history. In this sacred stillness, the lost castles of the Scottish Highlands offer a refuge for dreams, a place where the past and present entwine, and the soul can find peace amidst the wild beauty of nature. Let this serene journey through time and stone carry you softly into rest, where the whispers of ancient walls and the calm embrace of the Highlands guide you toward peaceful sleep and renewed spirit. As the deep night blankets the Scottish Highlands in a velvety darkness, the lost castles rest quietly beneath a tapestry of shimmering stars. The cool night air carries the faint scent of pine and damp earth, mingling with the subtle, lingering smoke of peat fires from distant crofts. The landscape, vast and still, seems to breathe softly, holding within it the weight of centuries and the gentle hush of untold stories. Imagine the castle's ancient stones, weathered and softened by countless seasons of wind and rain, glowing faintly under the pale moonlight. Their crumbling battlements and ivy-clad walls cast delicate shadows, creating a landscape of silhouettes and whispers. The silence here is profound yet alive, a living presence that invites reflection and solace. Within the heart of these ruins, one can almost hear the echoes of history, the distant clang of swords, the murmur of voices in stone halls, and the soft footsteps of those who once called these castles home. Picture the great feasts celebrated by flickering torchlight, where clans gathered to share stories, music, and the bonds of kinship. Now those vibrant moments are but faint imprints, carried on the Highland breeze and woven into the fabric of the land. The natural world embraces the castles in its protective arms. Tall pines sway gently, their branches whispering secrets to the night sky, while the distant howl of a lone wolf punctuates the stillness. Nearby, a quiet stream trickles softly, its waters reflecting the silver glow of the moon. The castles, though silent, pulse with the enduring rhythm of nature and time. As you drift into this tranquil nightscape, feel the peaceful weight of history settling around you, a soothing lullaby of stone and sky, of memory and mist. The lost castles of the Scottish Highlands offer a serene refuge, a place where the restless mind can find calm, and the heart can rest in the gentle embrace of a timeless land. Allow this quiet journey through ruins and reverie to carry you gently toward restful sleep, where the stories of the past and the dreams of the present meld into a soothing harmony. As the night deepens over the vast and rugged Scottish Highlands, the lost castles stand bathed in the gentle glow of the moon and stars, a timeless presence amidst the wild landscape. Imagine the soft silver light caressing the crumbled stone walls and weathered battlements, casting long shadows that seem to dance with the whispered secrets of centuries past. The cool night air is fragrant with the scent of pine, wet earth, and the faint trace of peat smoke from a distant hearth, mingling with the crispness of the mountain breeze. Within the silent ruins, the echoes of history ripple softly through the darkness. Picture the ghostly outlines of grand halls where clan leaders once convened, their voices raised in solemn council or joyous celebration. The empty courtyards, now cloaked in shadow, were once vibrant spaces filled with the clatter of horse hooves, the ringing of armor, and the murmur of everyday life. Though deserted now, these spaces still hold the intangible presence of those who walked their stones, loved and lost beneath the Highland sky. The natural world cradles these castles gently, enveloping them in a serene embrace. Tall, ancient trees sway softly, their branches whispering secrets to the night. The distant call of an owl punctuates the stillness, while the gentle rustle of leaves and the soft flow of a nearby stream create a soothing symphony of nature. The landscape, vast and wild, serves as both guardian and storyteller, weaving the castle's past into the present moment. Imagine the legends and lore that surround these ancient fortresses, the tales of bravery and betrayal, love and loss that have traveled through generations like the Highland winds. These stories, passed down by word of mouth and song, breathe life into the stones and keep the memory of the clans alive. The castles may be lost to time, but their spirits endure in the hearts of those who cherish the Highlands' rich heritage. As you settle into this tranquil scene, let the quiet majesty of the lost castles and the wild beauty of the Scottish Highlands wash over you. Allow the slow, gentle unfolding of history and nature's embrace to guide you toward peaceful rest. Here, in the shadow of ancient walls and beneath a sky full of stars, find solace in the timeless rhythm of the land and the enduring echoes of a world long past. As the first light of dawn gently breaks over the vast expanse of the Scottish Highlands, the lost castles stand silent and majestic, their ancient stones glowing softly in the early morning light. The air is crisp and fresh, filled with the delicate fragrance of dew-kissed heather and the faint, comforting smoke of peat fires from scattered crofts below. Mist clings gently to the rolling hills and winding glens, lending an ethereal quality to the landscape that has witnessed centuries of history and quiet transformation. The castles, though long abandoned and weathered by the relentless passage of time, continue to command the landscape with a dignified presence. Their crumbling walls, worn battlements, and ivy-covered turrets tell stories of resilience and enduring spirit. Imagine the echoes of footsteps that once filled the stone corridors, now replaced by the soft calls of Highland birds and the gentle whisper of the breeze through ancient trees. These ruins, once centers of power and life, have become serene sanctuaries where nature and history intertwine. Within the quiet solitude of the lost castles, one can almost feel the heartbeat of the past, the pulse of clan gatherings, the laughter of feasts, the solemn prayers whispered in stone chapels. The castles were homes to generations who weathered storms, defended their lands, and forged bonds of kinship and loyalty that shaped the fabric of Highland culture. Their stories, though faded, remain etched in the stones and carried on the winds. Surrounding the castles, the Highland landscape stretches in a breathtaking panorama of mountains, forests, and shimmering lochs. The ever-changing sky paints the hills with hues of soft pinks, golds, and blues, mirroring the cycles of nature and time. Pilgrims and wanderers traverse ancient paths, drawn by the timeless allure of these ruins and the deep sense of connection they evoke. As you immerse yourself in this final reflection, feel the gentle embrace of history and nature, a quiet reminder of the passage of time, the endurance of the human spirit, and the beauty found in stillness and remembrance. The lost castles of the Scottish Highlands stand not just as relics of the past, but as living monuments to a world where memory and landscape merge, inviting peace and contemplation. As our journey through the quieter chapters of history continues, perfect for those seeking calm and rest, we turn now to the vast and ancient Silk Road. Stretching across deserts, mountains, and bustling bazaars, this legendary network of trade routes was the lifeblood of cultural exchange for centuries. But beyond the famed silks and spices, there were many forgotten trade goods, each with its own story of value, rarity, and intrigue. In this episode of our Boring History for Sleep series, we will softly explore these overlooked treasures, from fragrant resins and exotic dyes to precious metals and rare medicinal herbs. As you relax and listen, let the gentle unfolding of these stories transport you to distant lands and timeless caravans, guiding you gently toward restful dreams. Stretching over 4,000 miles, the Silk Road was more than just a single route. It was a sprawling web of pathways, weaving through some of the most diverse and challenging terrains on Earth. Imagine the endless deserts of Central Asia, their golden sands shimmering under the relentless sun, and the rugged mountain passes where the air grows thin and cold. Across these vast landscapes, caravans of camels, horses, and merchants threaded their way, carrying not only precious silks and spices, but also a host of lesser-known trade goods, each carrying its own story and significance. As the caravan slowly advanced, the merchants navigated bustling oases, vibrant bazaars, and fortified caravanserais, rest stops that offered shelter, water, and the chance to trade news and goods. Picture the lively scenes: colorful textiles fluttering in the breeze, the rich scent of exotic spices mingling with the earthy aroma of leather and wood, and the clatter of coins exchanging hands beneath intricately carved archways. The Silk Road was a melting pot of cultures, languages, and ideas, where forgotten trade goods played a vital role in the complex tapestry of exchange. Among these overlooked treasures were fragrant resins such as frankincense and myrrh, prized not only for their aroma but for their use in religious ceremonies and medicinal practices across Asia and Europe. Envision bundles of dried herbs and rare medicinal plants carefully packed for transport, their healing properties sought after by healers and scholars alike. Alongside these were vibrant dyes extracted from plants and insects, colors that would transform humble fabrics into luxurious garments signifying status and identity. Metals and minerals also traveled these routes, their worth extending beyond mere currency. Precious stones, lapis lazuli, and even powdered pearls adorned jewelry and sacred artifacts, carrying symbolic meanings and spiritual power. Consider the artisans who crafted delicate objects from these materials, imbuing them with cultural significance and artistic mastery, their works traversing continents along the same dusty trails. As you listen, allow yourself to be transported to this ancient world of trade and travel, where each forgotten good held value far beyond its material worth. The stories of these items, how they were sourced, used, and cherished, reflect a rich human history of connection, exchange, and discovery. Let the gentle rhythm of this tale guide you into a restful state, where history's whispers mingle with dreams, and the vastness of the Silk Road unfolds softly before you. As the caravans of the Silk Road meandered through vast deserts and rugged mountain passes, they carried with them goods whose stories have faded into the folds of history. Imagine the delicate hands of artisans weaving intricate baskets and pottery that, while humble, were essential for daily life in distant lands. These items, often overlooked in grand tales of silk and spices, were vital to the practical and cultural fabric of the societies they touched. Picture the vibrant hues of indigo and saffron dyes, extracted painstakingly from plants and insects, coloring fabrics that would become prized garments in markets far and wide. These dyes were more than mere colors. They were symbols of identity, status, and belief. Imagine the scent of crushed saffron, rich and earthy, mingling with the heat of the sun-baked caravanserai, while merchants carefully wrapped these precious pigments to protect them from moisture and light. Alongside these were rare woods like sandalwood and agarwood, their fragrant oils treasured for use in perfumery and religious ceremonies. Visualize bundles of these aromatic woods, their scents weaving through bustling bazaars, evoking feelings of spirituality and calm. These fragrant goods traveled thousands of miles, crossing deserts and mountain ranges, touching countless cultures that incorporated their essence into daily rituals and sacred spaces. The Silk Road was also a conduit for metals less famous than gold or silver, but equally important, such as tin and copper. These metals found their way into tools, weaponry, and art, shaping the technological and aesthetic development of the regions connected by the trade routes. Imagine the clang of a smith's hammer in a distant village, crafting utensils and ornaments from these metals, connecting the raw resources of one land with the skilled hands of another. Medicinal herbs and spices, too, held a special place along the Silk Road. While cinnamon and pepper are well known, many other botanicals, some now nearly forgotten, were traded for their healing properties. Picture bundles of dried roots, leaves, and seeds wrapped in cloth, their aromas mingling in the air, promising relief from ailments and longevity to those who use them. These goods represented not just commerce, but the exchange of knowledge, as healers and scholars shared their wisdom across cultures. As you settle deeper into the story, let the gentle unfolding of these forgotten trade goods carry you through time and place. Feel the rhythm of ancient caravans traversing deserts and mountains, their burdens both heavy and precious. Allow the colors, scents, and sounds of these long-ago markets to soothe your mind and guide you gently toward peaceful rest, where history's quiet whispers mingle with dreams and tranquility. As the endless caravan trails wound through varied landscapes, from the scorching sands of the Taklamakan Desert to the snow-capped passes of the Pamirs, the forgotten trade goods of the Silk Road continued their slow, purposeful journey across continents. Imagine a scene in a bustling caravanserai at twilight, the air alive with the mingled scents of spiced tea, rich leather, and the faint musk of camels resting after a long day's trek. The sounds of merchants bartering, animals shifting in their stalls, and the soft murmur of distant prayers create a tapestry of life that is as vibrant as it is transient. Among the less heralded treasures were exotic textiles woven from goat's hair and cotton, dyed in colors harvested from rare plants. Picture the delicate patterns embroidered into these fabrics, symbols of regional identity and stories passed through generations. These materials, though overshadowed by the famed silks, were essential to the daily lives and cultures along the route, treasured for their warmth and craftsmanship in harsh climates. Further along the route, think of delicate glassware, carefully packed and wrapped to prevent the slightest crack. These fragile vessels, often crafted in distant Mediterranean workshops, held perfumes, oils, and medicines, commodities that traversed thousands of miles to reach the hands of rulers and healers alike. Envision the skill and care with which these precious items were transported, their fragility a stark contrast to the ruggedness of the journey. The Silk Road was also a highway for culinary wonders that shaped tastes and traditions far from their origins. Consider rare spices like asafoetida, cardamom, and star anise, whose aromas and flavors transformed humble dishes into culinary delights. Picture sacks of these spices stacked high in market stalls, their pungent fragrances mingling with the warm bread and fresh fruit, inviting travelers to savor the diversity of distant lands. Not all goods were tangible. Alongside physical trade, knowledge, religion, and culture flowed freely. Think of scrolls and manuscripts, texts on philosophy, astronomy, and medicine, carried by scholars and monks, fostering intellectual exchange that would shape civilizations. Imagine the flicker of candlelight in a desert tent as traders and thinkers shared stories and discoveries, bridging worlds with words. As you relax into this narrative, let the sensory richness and rhythmic pace of the Silk Road's forgotten goods guide you gently through time and place. Feel the weight of history, carried on the backs of camels and the wings of traders, connecting distant peoples through the quiet, persistent exchange of culture and commerce. Allow this soothing journey to lull you into restful sleep, where the past and dreams intertwine in tranquil harmony. As the caravan trails weave ever onward through the varied terrains of Asia, the Silk Road reveals a tapestry rich not only in commerce, but in culture, spirituality, and human connection. Picture a quiet oasis nestled in the heart of a vast desert, where weary travelers find respite beneath the shade of palm trees, the air fragrant with the scent of blooming jasmine and fresh water. Here, the lesser-known trade goods come alive, not merely objects of exchange, but vessels carrying the hopes, beliefs, and dreams of countless souls. Among these treasures were intricate tapestries and carpets, hand-woven with symbols and stories unique to each region. Imagine the vibrant reds, deep blues, and golden yellows of these textiles, their threads telling tales of ancient myths and heroic deeds. These works of art were treasured possessions, passed down through generations, and often exchanged as gifts to seal alliances or express gratitude. Fragrant oils and perfumes, extracted from rare flowers and resins, were another cherished commodity. Visualize delicate bottles of amber and jade, carefully packed in velvet-lined boxes, their contents filling the air with scents that evoke distant gardens and sacred rituals. These fragrances were prized not only for their beauty, but for their spiritual significance, used in ceremonies that bridged cultures and beliefs along the Silk Road. In the markets of far-flung cities, traders bartered not just goods, but ideas and innovations. Think of the exchange of musical instruments, lutes, flutes, and drums, whose melodies carried across deserts and mountains, enriching the cultural landscapes they touched. Envision skilled musicians playing under starlit skies, their music weaving a shared human experience that transcended language and geography. Metals such as tin and cobalt, often overlooked in grand narratives, were vital to the production of ceramics, tools, and pigments. Picture artisans in distant workshops transforming these raw materials into exquisite pottery and vibrant blue glazes, which then journeyed along the trade routes to decorate palaces and homes. These items reflected the ingenuity and artistic spirit of the civilizations connected by the Silk Road. Herbal medicines, many now rare or forgotten, formed a critical link in the chain of health and healing across Asia and beyond. Imagine scrolls of botanical knowledge being carefully copied and transported alongside dried roots and powders, promising relief and longevity to those far from their homes. These goods symbolized a shared quest for wellness and understanding across cultures. As you listen to this gentle unfolding of forgotten trade goods, let the imagery and rhythms transport you to a world where every object holds a story, and every journey is a thread in the vast, interwoven tapestry of human history. Allow the soothing cadence of this tale to guide you toward peaceful rest, where the echoes of ancient caravans blend with dreams beneath starry skies. As the sun begins its slow descent behind the distant peaks that cradle the vast Silk Road, the caravanserais, those ancient resting places scattered like pearls along the trade routes, come alive with the subtle bustle of merchants, travelers, and locals. Picture these stone courtyards illuminated by the warm glow of oil lamps and the flickering flames of campfires, their light casting dancing shadows upon the worn walls. The air is thick with the mingling scents of spiced tea, leather goods, and the earthy aroma of hay and animal hides. This is a world both ancient and alive, where forgotten trade goods find new purpose amidst the stories shared over evening meals and whispered conversations. Among these treasured but often overlooked commodities were rare minerals and pigments, powdered lapis lazuli, shimmering malachite, and vibrant cinnabar, used by artisans to create vivid artworks and manuscripts that celebrated religious devotion, royal grandeur, and cultural narratives. Imagine skilled painters delicately grinding these precious powders to paint intricate murals in distant temples, their brushstrokes telling stories that transcended borders and languages. Textiles woven from camel hair, fine wools, and cotton carried not only warmth, but also cultural significance. Envision the soft textures and intricate patterns of these fabrics, dyed with colors sourced from obscure plants and insects, each hue representing a story or a clan's identity. These garments, wrapped carefully for long journeys, would become cherished possessions, symbols of status and heritage in markets far from their origin. Exotic foods and culinary ingredients, beyond the famed spices, also traveled these routes. Consider the sweetness of dried fruits, dates, apricots, and figs, nourishing weary travelers during arduous desert crossings. Picture baskets overflowing with nuts and seeds, their crunch providing energy and comfort. These goods offered a taste of home and a connection to distant lands, their flavors mingling with the tales told beneath the stars. The Silk Road also facilitated the trade of spiritual artifacts, prayer beads, amulets, and sacred texts that carry deep religious significance for diverse cultures. Visualize pilgrims and monks exchanging these items, their hands clasping tokens of faith that transcended language and geography. These exchanges were not merely commercial, but acts of shared belief and cultural respect. As you drift through this tapestry of forgotten trade goods, allow the rich textures, scents, and stories to envelop you like a comforting blanket. Feel the steady rhythm of the caravans, the resilience of the merchants, and the enduring spirit of connection that define the Silk Road. Let this soothing narrative guide you gently toward restful sleep, where history's whispers and dreams intertwine beneath a vast, starlit sky. As the journey of the Silk Road caravans continued through the vast and varied landscapes, the trade goods carried along these ancient routes revealed the depth and diversity of human creativity and cultural exchange. Imagine a bustling market town nestled in a fertile valley where the clamor of merchants fills the air. The smell of freshly baked bread mingles with exotic spices, while colorful stalls overflow with treasures both practical and precious. Here, forgotten trade goods found eager hands and curious eyes. Consider the humble yet essential goods such as fine pottery and ceramics. Visualize the delicate craftsmanship of these vessels, clay molded by skilled hands, painted with intricate patterns that told stories of the maker's homeland. These pots and jars, designed to hold everything from water to oils and grains, were vital for daily life and carried the imprint of cultural artistry. As they passed from trader to buyer, these objects became bridges between distant peoples and their traditions. Jewelry fashioned from semi-precious stones, shells, and metals also traveled the Silk Road, adorning the bodies of those who wore them as symbols of status, faith, or protection. Imagine artisans in workshops, hammering and shaping metals, threading beads with meticulous care. These ornaments, whether simple or ornate, carried meanings that transcended their material value, embodying stories and beliefs passed down through generations. In addition to physical goods, the Silk Road was a conduit for culinary traditions that shaped the diets of many cultures. Dried nuts, seeds, and grains were transported as essential sustenance for travelers and local populations alike. Envision baskets brimming with these nourishing foods, their textures and flavors familiar, yet infused with the novelty of foreign origins. These ingredients would be woven into the culinary fabric of societies, enriching meals and nourishing bodies far from their original source. Religious artifacts and sacred items, such as intricately carved prayer wheels, statues, and manuscripts, were also carried with reverence. Picture monks and pilgrims exchanging these items, their spiritual significance deepening bonds between communities separated by vast distances. These goods were not mere objects, but vessels of faith and culture, connecting hearts and minds along the ancient roads. As twilight descends over the caravanserai and market towns, the quiet hum of activity slowly softens. Traders and travelers rest beneath a sky filled with stars, their minds and bodies nourished by the day's exchanges. Let the soothing cadence of this tale carry you gently into the realm of dreams, where the forgotten trade goods of the Silk Road whisper stories of connection, resilience, and the enduring spirit of human curiosity. As the caravan journeys pressed onward through the shifting landscapes of the Silk Road, the goods carried on their backs were more than mere commodities. They were threads in a vast tapestry of culture, belief, and human connection. Imagine a twilight scene in a remote mountain pass, where weary merchants unload their precious wares beneath the flickering light of oil lamps, the cold air filled with the scent of pine and earth. Here, the overlooked treasures of the Silk Road, those forgotten trade goods, take on a quiet significance, each with a story waiting to be told. Among these were fine musical instruments, crafted with care and imbued with the soul of distant lands. Picture lutes with delicate wooden frames, flutes carved from bamboo, and drums whose skins were stretched taut by the skilled hands of artisans. These instruments traveled across deserts and mountains, their melodies weaving together cultures and traditions. Envision gatherings under starry skies, where the gentle strains of music bridged language barriers and united diverse peoples in shared celebration and reflection. Exotic spices, beyond the well-known cinnamon and pepper, included lesser-known varieties like long pepper, galangal, and safflower. Imagine sacks of these fragrant spices stacked high in caravan markets, their scents blending into a complex aroma that invited curiosity and desire. These spices not only added flavor to food, but were believed to possess healing properties and spiritual significance, connecting the culinary with the mystical. The trade also included precious textiles dyed with unique pigments, such as Tyrian purple derived from sea snails or vivid blues from indigo plants. Visualize rich fabrics glistening in the sun, their colors telling stories of craftsmanship and cultural identity. These textiles adorn nobility and commoners alike, serving as symbols of status, tradition, and artistry. Metalwork and weaponry, crafted from copper, bronze, and iron, were vital trade goods that shaped society's abilities to defend and express power. Imagine blacksmiths forging swords and tools, their sparks flying in rhythmic bursts, creating implements that would journey far from their place of origin. These goods represented the fusion of technology, artistry, and survival, integral to the peoples connected by the Silk Road. As you immerse yourself in this rich narrative, let the sights, sounds, and scents of the Silk Road's forgotten trade goods envelop your senses. Feel the enduring spirit of exploration and exchange that carried these treasures across continents, weaving together civilizations in a quiet yet profound dialogue. Allow this soothing story to guide you gently toward rest and renewal, where history's whispers mingle with peaceful dreams beneath a vast, starlit sky. As the caravan trails of the Silk Road wind further into the twilight of history, the forgotten trade goods they bore whisper tales of human ingenuity, connection, and the enduring quest for beauty and meaning. Picture a quiet evening in a bustling market town nestled between the high mountains and endless deserts, where the glow of lanterns flickers against stone walls and the air is thick with the mingling scents of spices, incense, and fresh bread. Merchants gather in clusters, voices low and filled with stories, while artisans carefully prepare their wares, objects whose worth transcends the mere material. Among these are delicate glass beads, crafted in far-off workshops and threaded into necklaces and bracelets that adorned the necks and wrists of those who treasured them. Imagine the kaleidoscope of colors, emerald greens, sapphire blues, and ruby reds, catching the lantern light, each bead a tiny vessel of craftsmanship and trade. These beads traveled thousands of miles, symbols of status, beauty, and the silent bonds of exchange that connected diverse cultures. Rare resins and gums, harvested from remote forests, were another treasure of the Silk Road. Picture bundles of frankincense and myrrh, their rich balsamic scents curling through the night air, used in rituals and medicine alike. These fragrant goods carried spiritual significance, their smoke rising in prayers and ceremonies that echoed across continents, linking the sacred with the everyday. In the heart of the market, one might find exotic fruits and nuts, dried pomegranates, pistachios, and mulberries, offering a taste of distant lands to travelers far from home. Envision baskets overflowing with these delicacies, their colors and textures inviting curiosity and delight. These foods not only nourished bodies, but also served as gifts, tokens of hospitality and goodwill across cultural divides. Artisans traded pigments and dyes that transformed plain fabrics into vibrant tapestries of color and meaning. Visualize the deep purples and reds, the brilliant yellows and blues, each shade painstakingly extracted from rare plants and insects. These colors adorned garments worn in ceremonies and celebrations, weaving stories of identity, faith, and tradition into every thread. As you settle into this gentle narrative, let the sensory richness and profound history of these forgotten goods carry you across time and place. Feel the steady rhythm of the caravan, the shared human spirit of exploration and exchange, and the quiet beauty of connections forged through trade. Allow this soothing journey to lull you into restful sleep, where the echoes of the Silk Road's lost treasures mingle with dreams beneath a vast, star-studded sky. As the long and winding routes of the Silk Road stretch into the twilight of history, the forgotten trade goods it carried continue to weave a silent narrative of connection, resilience, and cultural exchange. Imagine a serene evening settling over a small caravanserai, nestled between rugged mountains, where weary travelers gather around flickering fires. The air is cool and carries the mingled aromas of roasted nuts, dried fruits, and the faintest hints of exotic spices still clinging to worn leather saddlebags. The soft murmur of voices blends with the crackle of firewood and the gentle rustling of tent flaps, creating a cocoon of warmth and companionship amidst the vast wilderness. Among the treasures traded along these ancient paths were fine papers and inks, essential to the preservation and dissemination of knowledge. Visualize delicate sheets of parchment, some dyed in soft hues and others embossed with intricate patterns, stacked carefully alongside pots of ink derived from soot and plant dyes. These materials fueled the scribes and scholars who documented the histories, philosophies, and scientific discoveries that traveled hand in hand with the caravans. Each manuscript was a precious link in the chain of cultural heritage, connecting civilizations across vast distances. The Silk Road also facilitated the trade of intricate ceramics and porcelain, prized not only for their utility, but for their exquisite artistry. Picture bowls and vases painted with delicate motifs, dragons twisting among clouds, blossoms unfolding in spring, or geometric patterns symbolizing harmony and balance. These objects carried the aesthetic sensibilities and technical mastery of their makers, enchanting traders and collectors alike as they journeyed from one marketplace to another. Jewelry crafted from gold, silver, and rare gemstones was another hidden gem among the goods exchanged. Imagine skilled goldsmiths hammering thin sheets of metal into intricate filigree, setting stones whose colors captured the light like captured dreams. These adornments were worn as talismans, symbols of wealth, and expressions of cultural identity, bridging the personal with the transcendent. Natural dyes and pigments, sourced from obscure plants and minerals, were treasured by textile artisans who transformed threads into vibrant tapestries of culture and tradition. Envision artisans grinding these materials under the soft glow of lanterns, their hands moving with practiced precision to create hues that would tell stories in the fabrics worn by nobility and commoners alike. As you immerse yourself in this tranquil scene, feel the profound rhythm of the Silk Road, the unending journey of goods and ideas, of people connected by curiosity and necessity. Let the gentle cadence of history's whispers soothe your mind, guiding you softly into restful sleep, where the echoes of ancient caravans and forgotten treasures mingle with dreams beneath a boundless starlit sky. As dawn breaks gently over the sprawling landscapes threaded by the ancient Silk Road, the whispers of forgotten trade goods linger in the cool morning air, like delicate echoes of a world long past. Imagine the soft glow of the rising sun casting warm hues over vast deserts, rugged mountain ranges, and bustling market towns that once thrived as crossroads of culture and commerce. The land awakens slowly with the gentle rustle of palm fronds, the distant call of desert birds, and the quiet footsteps of early travelers embarking on new journeys. Within these markets and caravanserais, the goods that once passed from hand to hand, rare herbs, vibrant textiles, precious minerals, and fragrant resins, remain silent witnesses to a time when connections were forged through the slow, deliberate exchange of objects and ideas. Picture merchants carefully packing the last of their wares, securing delicate glass vials filled with exotic perfumes, wrapping bundles of spices whose scents tell stories of faraway lands, and rolling vibrant fabrics dyed with pigments so rare they were treasured as treasures themselves. These trade goods were more than commodities. They were vessels of culture, symbols of identity, and carriers of tradition. Visualize the artisans, healers, and scholars who relied on these goods. Their knowledge passed along with each transaction, enriching civilizations and weaving a tapestry of shared human experience. The Silk Road was not merely a route for commerce, it was a conduit for the flow of wisdom, art, and spirituality. As you reflect on this journey, let the quiet majesty of the Silk Road and its forgotten treasures envelop you in a serene embrace. Allow the imagery of ancient caravans under starry skies, the scent of distant spices carried on desert winds, and the soft cadence of history's unfolding to soothe your mind and spirit. Feel yourself carried gently into restful sleep, where the echoes of the past mingle with dreams, and the vast, timeless expanse of the Silk Road invites peace and renewal. As we continue our quiet journey through history's softer tales, perfect for those seeking calm and rest, let us now travel across the Atlantic to the early days of colonial America. Amidst the rolling hills, dense forests, and burgeoning settlements, countless artifacts once told the stories of daily life, hope, and hardship. Yet many of these objects have vanished over time, lost to the passage of years, forgotten beneath layers of earth, or scattered across the land. In this episode of our Boring History for Sleep series, we will softly explore these disappearing artifacts, the tools, pottery, textiles, and personal belongings that quietly shaped the lives of colonists and native peoples alike. As you settle in, allow the gentle unfolding of these stories to carry you into a restful state, where history's whispers mingle with peaceful dreams. In the quiet dawn of colonial America, the land was a vast tapestry of dense forests, rolling meadows, and winding rivers, a world both new and ancient, where the stories of native peoples intertwined with those of European settlers, arriving with hopes, fears, and dreams. Imagine standing at the edge of a forest, the cool morning mist still lingering among towering oaks and maples, the air rich with the scent of damp earth and wood smoke. The soft rustle of leaves and distant calls of wild birds create a gentle symphony of nature, waking to a new day. Amidst this landscape, countless artifacts once bore witness to the daily lives of those who sought to build new communities. Picture the simple pottery vessels, shaped by hands skilled in traditions passed through generations, their surfaces worn smooth by use. These humble containers held food, water, and memories, each chip and crack telling a silent story of family meals, shared gatherings, and survival. Tools forged from iron and bone, though now vanished or buried, were once vital extensions of human will and ingenuity. Imagine the rhythmic strike of a blacksmith's hammer on an anvil, sparks flying as metal was shaped into nails, blades, and farming implements, objects essential for carving homes and lives out of the wilderness. These tools, now lost to time, form the backbone of early colonial industry and domestic life. Textiles woven from flax and wool clothed settlers against harsh winters and damp conditions. Envision the coarse yet comforting fabrics dyed with natural colors, muted browns, grays, and faded blues, garments patched and worn through seasons of labor and care. The threads of these fabrics carried not just warmth, but the stories of resilience and adaptation in a new land. Personal belongings, simple jewelry, buttons, pipes, and utensils, once treasured possessions that offered glimpses into the tastes, status, and daily rituals of colonial inhabitants, have gradually disappeared or been scattered, their stories fading with them. Imagine the soft glow of candlelight illuminating a small wooden table where a family gathers to share a meal, the clink of a spoon against a bowl, the quiet laughter and whispered prayers that infuse these objects with meaning. Beneath the surface of modern fields and towns, many artifacts lie hidden, forgotten fragments of a time when two worlds met, collided, and reshaped one another. These disappearing artifacts serve as silent witnesses to a complex history of hope, hardship, and cultural exchange. As you settle into the story of vanished objects and fading memories, let the gentle cadence of history wash over you like a soft breeze through the trees. Allow the rich textures and vivid imagery to lull you into peaceful rest, where the whispers of the past mingle with dreams beneath the calm canopy of the American dawn. As the sun climbs higher over the vast woodlands and fertile fields of colonial America, life in the early settlements unfolds with a quiet determination. Imagine the soft murmur of a small village waking to the day, the crackling of fires, the calls of farmers tending to livestock, and the gentle creak of wooden wheels rolling along dirt paths. The air is rich with the mingling scents of fresh bread baking, rich soil turned by plowshares, and the sweet fragrance of wildflowers blooming at the forest's edge. Within this world, countless artifacts played silent yet essential roles in shaping daily existence. Consider the sturdy wooden churns and earthenware jars that held milk and butter, the simple tools used for planting and harvesting crops, and the woven baskets that carried goods to market or on long journeys. Each item, though often overlooked in grand historical narratives, was a lifeline connecting families to the land and to one another. Picture the hands that fashioned these objects, calloused, patient, and skilled, working from dawn until dusk. A mother weaving cloth by candlelight, the rhythmic passing of threads, creating fabric that would shield her children from cold winters. A blacksmith hammering iron into horseshoes and nails, the sparks flying like fleeting stars in the dim light of his forge. These artisans left behind traces not only in their crafted goods, but in the spirit of community and resilience. The artifacts of colonial America also bear witness to cultural intersections, where Native American craftsmanship and European techniques blended in subtle and profound ways. Imagine intricately carved wooden utensils inspired by indigenous designs or pottery painted with motifs passed down through native traditions. These objects tell stories of adaptation, cooperation, and sometimes conflict, complex threads woven into the fabric of early American life. Yet as time passed, many of these artifacts vanished, lost to decay, plunder, or the relentless advance of progress. Fields that once held the remnants of village life were plowed for new crops, forests cleared for settlements, and rivers rerouted to serve growing towns. The material culture of a formative era slipped quietly beneath the surface, awaiting rediscovery by archaeologists and historians who seek to piece together the lives of those who came before. As you listen, let the soft unfolding of this story draw you deeper into a world where every artifact holds a fragment of memory, every tool a testament to survival, and every vanished object a whisper of a life once lived. Allow the gentle rhythm of history and nature to guide you toward restful peace, where the echoes of the past mingle with the calm of dreams under the broad American sky. As the seasons changed in colonial America, the rhythms of life were deeply intertwined with the natural world. Imagine the crisp air of autumn, tinged with the earthy aroma of fallen leaves and ripe orchards, as settlers and native peoples alike prepared for the long winter ahead. The landscape was a mosaic of forests, fields, and rivers, where the artifacts of daily life, from tools to textiles, reflected a delicate balance between survival and adaptation. Picture a small homestead at dusk, the glow of a hearth flickering through window panes, casting warm light on simple wooden furniture and worn linens. On the table, a collection of clay pipes, pewter spoons, and hand-thrown pottery speaks to the lives of those who sat there, each item bearing the marks of use and care. These artifacts, now faded or lost, were once central to the household's daily rituals, binding family and community. Beyond domestic life, the artifacts tell stories of cultural exchange and resilience. Envision the delicate beadwork and woven baskets crafted by native artisans, their patterns rich with meaning and tradition. These crafts were often traded or gifted, symbols of relationships forged between diverse peoples, navigating a new and challenging world. The blending of native and European material culture created unique artifacts that embody stories of cooperation and conflict, survival and identity. The tools of agriculture, plows, hoes, and sickles, carried the hopes of settlers striving to tame the land. Imagine the rhythm of labor in fields, the turning of soil, and the gathering of harvests that sustained communities through harsh winters. These implements, forged from iron and wood, were the physical means by which people shaped their environment, yet many have vanished, swallowed by time and change. As settlements grew, so too did the artifacts of trade and commerce. Picture the vibrant marketplaces where goods from distant lands, textiles, metals, and spices, were exchanged alongside local wares. Coins minted with the faces of monarchs clinked against carved wooden chests, while imported glassware caught the light, a symbol of new wealth and connection. Yet many such artifacts remain buried beneath layers of history, waiting to reveal their stories. Amidst the changing tides of colonization, war, and expansion, countless artifacts disappeared, looted, broken, or simply forgotten. Fields plowed over ancient hearths, forests cleared over burial sites, and rivers rerouted over former settlements. Each lost object is a fragment of a story untold, a whisper of lives once lived, hopes once nurtured, and dreams once dreamed. As you listen, let the gentle cadence of these stories carry you into a reflective calm. Feel the textures of worn pottery, the weight of a tool in a calloused hand, and the soft glow of a fire illuminating a forgotten artifact. Allow this immersive narrative to guide you gently toward restful sleep, where history's quiet echoes mingle with the softness of dreams beneath the vast, star-filled American sky. As twilight descends over the early American settlements, the day's labors give way to moments of quiet reflection and gathering. Imagine the soft amber glow of lanterns and hearth fires illuminating humble wooden cabins, their walls etched with the passage of time and the stories of countless families. The air is thick with the comforting sense of burning wood, fresh bread cooling on rustic tables, and the faintest traces of tobacco smoke curling lazily upwards. This is a world where artifacts of daily life, simple utensils, worn textiles, and personal keepsakes, held profound significance beyond their material form. Picture a mother mending a patchwork quilt by the flickering light, her fingers deft and steady, weaving together fragments of fabric that tell stories of seasons past and hopes for the future. Nearby, children listen intently to tales spun by elders, their eyes wide with wonder as stories of survival, hardship, and community life unfold. These moments, captured in the artifacts that surround them, carved wooden toys, hand-forged tools, and weathered pottery, form a tapestry of human experience woven through generations. The landscape beyond the settlements reflects the delicate balance between human endeavor and nature's enduring presence. Imagine the dense forests stretching endlessly, home to wildlife and the ancestral lands of native peoples. Within these woods, tools carved from stone and bone, arrowheads, and ceremonial objects speak to a rich cultural heritage that persisted even as colonial artifacts began to dominate the narrative. These indigenous artifacts, often lost or displaced, tell stories of resilience and adaptation, a silent testimony to lives intertwined with the land. Trade and exchange were vital lifelines connecting these disparate communities. Visualize bustling trading posts where settlers and native peoples bartered goods, furs, grains, metal tools, and crafted ornaments, each item carrying layers of meaning and necessity. Coins and beads, shells and cloth, moved hands and hearts, weaving connections that transcended language and culture. Yet many of these objects, fragile and ephemeral, have slipped from memory, lost beneath layers of history. As the stars emerge in the velvet night sky, the disappearing artifacts of colonial America rest alongside their stories, waiting patiently to be rediscovered. Each shard of pottery, each faded garment, each worn tool is a fragment of a larger narrative, a story of hope, hardship, and the human desire to leave a mark on the world. Allow yourself to be carried gently on this quiet journey through time, where the textures of history and the whispers of the past create a peaceful lullaby. Let the soft unfolding of these tales guide you into restful sleep, where dreams blend with the echoes of a vanished world beneath the calm canopy of the American night. As the seasons turned and years passed in colonial America, the landscape was forever changing, shaped by the hands and hopes of its inhabitants. Imagine the deepening hues of autumn, with golden leaves carpeting the forest floor and crisp breezes carrying the scent of burning wood from hearths, preparing for the cold months ahead. The settlers and native peoples alike prepared for winter, gathering food, tending to animals, and crafting the tools and garments that would sustain them through long, dark nights. Amidst this rhythm of life, the artifacts of daily existence, tools, utensils, clothing, and personal effects, served as tangible connections to family, culture, and survival. Picture a weathered wooden churn, worn smooth by years of use, standing proudly in a humble kitchen where butter was lovingly made. Envision hand-carved spoons and bowls, each bearing the marks of countless meals shared and stories told. These objects, though simple, were imbued with meaning, carrying the warmth of home and the resilience of those who shaped them. In the quiet solitude of the wilderness, Native American artifacts, arrowheads, pottery shards, and ceremonial objects continued to tell stories of a people deeply connected to the land. Imagine the intricate patterns painted on clay vessels, the smooth edges of stone tools fashioned with care, and the feathers and beads woven into regalia worn during sacred ceremonies. These artifacts, some lost and others preserved, speak of a rich cultural heritage that persisted despite the sweeping changes brought by colonization. Trade remained a vital lifeline, linking disparate communities through the exchange of goods and ideas. Picture a bustling trading post where European settlers and Native Americans bartered furs, corn, metal tools, and woven textiles. The air is alive with the mingled scents of spices, tobacco, and fresh earth. Among the traded goods were small tokens, coins, beads, and carved trinkets that served as symbols of alliance, friendship, and negotiation. Yet many of these tokens have vanished, lost to time and the shifting currents of history. As darkness falls and the stars emerge over the colonial settlements, the disappearing artifacts lie quietly beneath layers of earth and memory. Each fragment, a shard of pottery, a rusted nail, a faded piece of cloth, holds a story waiting to be told, a whisper of lives lived in hope, struggle, and adaptation. Allow yourself to be wrapped in the gentle embrace of this story, where the textures of history and the warmth of human experience unfold softly. Let the quiet cadence of these vanished artifacts guide you into restful sleep, where the echoes of the past mingle with dreams beneath the vast, star-studded sky of early America. As winter's chill settles over the fledgling settlements of colonial America, the landscape transforms into a quiet, snow-blanketed world where survival and resilience take center stage. Imagine the soft crunch of snow beneath worn leather boots, the stark beauty of frost-laden trees glistening in pale sunlight, and the curling smoke rising steadily from stone chimneys. This season, harsh and demanding, saw families huddled together, relying on the tools, garments, and hearthside artifacts that had become indispensable to their lives. Picture the sturdy iron cooking pots and cast iron kettles hanging over crackling fires, their surfaces blackened with years of use, simmering with hearty stews made from root vegetables and preserved meats. These humble objects, though often overlooked, were the heart of the colonial home, providing nourishment and comfort during the long, cold months. Each scrape and dent tells a story of meals shared and hands warmed beside the fire. Clothing, too, was vital during these times. Thick woolen cloaks, fur-lined mittens, and tightly woven blankets, all crafted with care to withstand the biting cold. Visualize the rhythmic clack of spinning wheels as women wove yarns dyed with natural pigments, creating fabrics that were both practical and beautiful. These textiles, now often faded or lost, were cherished possessions, symbols of family care and the endurance of tradition. In the midst of winter's stillness, Native American artifacts, stone tools, woven mats, and ceremonial objects reflect a culture deeply attuned to the rhythms of nature. Imagine the intricate beadwork and quill embroidery adorning garments, each stitch a testament to artistry and identity. These artifacts reveal a connection to the land and seasons that was both spiritual and practical, guiding communities through the cycle of life and renewal. Trade during winter slowed but never ceased entirely. Picture small groups of traders braving snowy passes and frozen rivers, carrying with them precious goods, dried herbs, preserved foods, metal tools that sustained communities and maintained connections. The exchange of these items fostered alliances and cultural exchange, despite the challenges of the season. Yet many of these artifacts, fragile and ephemeral, have disappeared beneath the layers of time and snow. As night falls early and the stars shine brightly in the clear winter sky, the disappearing artifacts of colonial America rest quietly, their stories folded into the fabric of a land shaped by perseverance and hope. Each object, though vanished or buried, carries the legacy of those who lived, loved, and labored in a world both harsh and beautiful. Allow yourself to be enveloped in this serene narrative, where history's gentle rhythms and the warmth of human experience create a peaceful lullaby. Let the soft unfolding of these tales guide you gently into restful sleep, where the echoes of a vanished past mingle with dreams beneath the calm winter night. As the grip of winter gradually loosens and the first signs of spring begin to emerge across the colonial American landscape, a quiet transformation unfolds, both in nature and in the lives of those who call this new world home. Imagine the slow thaw of snow, the gentle drip of melting icicles, and the fresh, earthy scent of damp soil awakening beneath the trees. The air is crisp but filled with promise, a time of renewal and preparation, where every artifact, tool, and object once again finds purpose in the cyclical dance of life. Picture a small colonial farmstead, bathed in the soft light of early morning, where the rhythmic sounds of plowing and planting fill the air. The sturdy wooden plow, worn smooth by years of labor, cuts into the rich earth, turning over the soil to prepare it for new growth. Nearby, baskets woven from reeds and grasses sit ready to gather the first shoots and seeds. These tools, often simple and utilitarian, carry the weight of generations' knowledge and effort, symbols of survival and hope. Visualize the settlers repairing and crafting the garments that will protect them through the changing seasons. Coarse linens and woolen cloth are mended and dyed using natural pigments extracted from roots, berries, and bark. The colors may be muted, but are vibrant with the life they represent, a connection to both heritage and the land itself. The tactile feel of these fabrics, rough yet comforting, speaks of the hands that made and cared for them. Beyond the colonial homesteads, the artifacts of Native American communities reflect a profound understanding of the natural world and its cycles. Imagine the delicate weaving of baskets and mats, each strand carefully placed to create functional art that will carry, shelter, and sustain. The use of natural dyes in vibrant reds and yellows adorns textiles and ceremonial garments, telling stories of identity and spirituality woven into every thread. Trade routes once again buzz with renewed activity as the ice recedes and merchants prepare to journey forth. Imagine the careful packing of goods, bundles of medicinal herbs, crafted tools, and exotic spices, wrapped in cloth and leather, ready to traverse rivers and mountain passes. The exchange of these items fosters relationships, alliances, and cultural exchanges that knit together the diverse peoples of colonial America. As the day fades into a peaceful dusk, the disappearing artifacts of this era rest quietly beneath the growing foliage, their stories folded into the fabric of renewal and resilience. Each lost object, a hand-forged nail, a broken piece of pottery, a faded ribbon, holds a silent testament to lives lived in harmony and struggle, in hope and endurance. Allow yourself to be gently carried by the rhythms of this unfolding tale, where the textures of history and the warmth of human endeavor weave a soothing narrative. Let this peaceful journey guide you softly into restful sleep, where the whispers of the past blend with dreams beneath the awakening spring sky. As the vibrant colors of spring deepen into the warmth of early summer across colonial America, the land bursts forth with life, and the rhythms of daily existence swell with renewed energy and purpose. Imagine waking to the chorus of songbirds greeting the dawn, their melodies weaving through blossoming orchards and fields heavy with fresh growth. The sun climbs steadily, bathing wooden homesteads, bustling villages, and fertile farmlands in a golden light that promises abundance and renewal. Within these lively scenes, the artifacts of colonial life take on new significance. Picture sturdy farming implements, plows, hoes, and scythes, gleaming under the sun after careful maintenance, their handles smoothed by countless hands. These tools were not mere objects, but essential companions in the timeless dance of planting and harvest, their forms shaped by both function and the intimate knowledge of the land they tended. Visualize the lively marketplaces of growing towns where a myriad of goods is exchanged amidst the hum of barter and conversation. Baskets woven from native reeds overflow with fresh produce, ripe strawberries, early corn, and fragrant herbs, their scents mingling in the warm air. Handcrafted pottery, adorned with painted motifs inspired by both European and native designs, offers both utility and beauty to buyers. Each vessel tells a story of artistic tradition and everyday necessity, a bridge between worlds. The textiles of the period reflect the blending of cultures and the labor of many. Imagine yards of hand-woven linen and wool, their patterns both simple and intricate, dyed in hues drawn from the natural world, ochres, blues, and greens harvested from plants and minerals. These fabrics clothe settlers in both practicality and modest pride, symbols of resilience and adaptation in a new and often challenging environment. Beyond the towns and fields, the rich material culture of native communities continues to thrive. Picture artisans weaving intricate baskets, carving tools from stone and bone, and crafting ceremonial garments adorned with beads and feathers. These artifacts, alive with symbolism and tradition, tell stories of connection to the land and spiritual practices that have endured despite the pressures of colonization. Trade routes, now more established, facilitate the continued exchange of goods, both mundane and precious. Imagine caravans laden with tobacco leaves, furs, spices, and metal goods winding through forests and along rivers. The mingling of goods carries with it the mingling of cultures, knowledge, and stories, weaving a complex tapestry of human experience. As twilight descends and fireflies begin their delicate dance among the trees, the disappearing artifacts of colonial America settle into the quiet of the night, their silent stories embedded in the earth and memory. Each shard, tool, and textile fragment is a whisper from the past, inviting reflection on lives shaped by hope, hardship, and the enduring human spirit. Let this gentle narrative envelop you, guiding you into a tranquil state where the echoes of history merge with the softness of dreams beneath the vast, star-studded sky of early America. As summer wanes and the air takes on the softer golden hues of late afternoon, the settlements of colonial America prepare for the transition to autumn, a season rich with harvest, reflection, and quiet anticipation. Imagine the gentle hum of activity in the fields, where farmers and laborers gather the fruits of their toil, ears of corn, pumpkins, beans, and apples. Their vibrant colors a testament to the land's generosity. The earth is warm beneath calloused hands, and the scents of freshly turned soil mingle with the sweet perfume of ripening fruit. Within this landscape, the artifacts that once sustained daily life take on new layers of meaning. Picture wooden harvest tools, their surfaces polished smooth by seasons of use, resting beside woven baskets brimming with produce. Each item carries the story of survival and the delicate balance between human effort and nature's bounty. Nearby, earthenware vessels, stained by use yet steadfast, hold preserved fruits and vegetables, securing the promise of sustenance through the colder months. The textiles of this period reflect the rhythms of the seasons. Thicker wools and layered fabrics dyed in autumnal shades of rust, ochre, and deep green. Visualize women and children engaged in spinning and weaving, their hands moving in practiced motions as they prepare warm garments to shield their families from winter's chill. These fabrics, soft yet durable, are tangible expressions of care, tradition, and resilience. In the markets and town squares, trade goods continue to flow, carrying with them the mingled influences of European settlers, Native Americans, and African communities. Imagine vibrant cloths dyed with cochineal red, beads made from glass and bone, and metal tools forged by skilled blacksmiths, all symbols of a multicultural tapestry woven through commerce and exchange. These goods, while often forgotten, are threads that connect diverse peoples and histories. Beyond the settlements, Native American artifacts continue to echo the deep spiritual and practical knowledge of indigenous communities. Picture ceremonial items crafted with care and imbued with meaning, feathers, stones, and carved wood, that speak to a profound connection with the land and ancestral traditions. These artifacts, many lost or displaced, remind us of cultures that endured and adapted amidst upheaval. As dusk settles and the sky blushes with the fading light, the disappearing artifacts rest silently beneath the earth, their stories folded into the seasons of life and change. Each fragment, a broken tool, a worn garment, a faded bead, is a whisper of lives intertwined with the land and each other, a testament to endurance and hope. Let the gentle unfolding of these narratives carry you softly into restful sleep, where the echoes of colonial America's vanished treasures mingle with dreams beneath a vast, starlit sky. As the final chapter of the year unfolds, the landscape of colonial America is cloaked in the quiet majesty of late autumn, a time when the earth prepares for rest beneath a blanket of frost. Imagine the soft, muted light filtering through bare branches, the crisp air carrying the scent of wood smoke and damp leaves. Settlements settle into a slower pace, the rush of summer giving way to reflective calm, as families gather around hearths and fires, sharing stories and memories that bind them to each other and to the land. Within these homes, the artifacts that once shaped daily life, simple tools, worn textiles, cherished keepsakes, hold a weight of memory and meaning. Picture a well-used spinning wheel, its wood smooth from years of use, turning thread that will become the fabric of warmth for winter nights. Nearby, a cracked pottery bowl sits beside a worn wooden table, its surface bearing the marks of countless meals and shared moments. These objects, though humble, are vessels of resilience and continuity, echoing the hands and hearts that fashioned and cherished them. The cultural tapestry of colonial America is woven from many threads: European settlers, Native American communities, and African influences, each contributing to a rich, if sometimes fraught, history. Envision artifacts that reflect this complex interplay: hand-carved wooden spoons beside ornate beadwork, iron nails hammered into timber frames, fragments of pottery bearing both European and indigenous designs. These artifacts speak to stories of adaptation, conflict, cooperation, and survival, testaments to human tenacity. As trade and exchange continued to shape the colonies, the flow of goods brought both change and continuity. Imagine crates filled with tobacco, woven baskets of dried herbs, and bundles of textiles, their colors and textures telling stories of distant lands and new beginnings. Each item carried the hopes and efforts of traders, farmers, and artisans, weaving a network of relationships that spanned continents and cultures. Yet many of these artifacts have disappeared, lost to time, forgotten beneath the earth, or scattered by the tides of history. Fields plowed over ancient hearths, forests cleared without regard for sacred sites, and rivers redirected away from long-abandoned settlements. Each lost artifact is a silent witness to lives lived in hope and hardship, their stories waiting to be rediscovered and honored. As night falls and the stars emerge in the clear autumn sky, allow yourself to be wrapped in the gentle embrace of this narrative, a story of disappearing artifacts, enduring legacies, and the quiet power of memory. Let the textures, scents, and rhythms of colonial America's vanished treasures lull you into peaceful sleep, where history's whispers mingle with dreams beneath a vast, timeless sky. Thank you so much for listening all the way through this video. I wish you wake up refreshed with a day full of energy, good health, and lots of good luck. See you again in the next videos.